City boy with a country swing. First we went from the court to the bikes, back to the courts of my younger days. Lived through it all, but still nothing changed. Forever be me till I'm in the grave. Face on my problems, don't run away. Stand on my feelings, don't need a chase. Just shoot me straight. I'm like an acrobat, a circus act, like they got me in a cage. I could go tit for tat, the gift the gab, but can't give it to the hate. I'ma just tip my cap and dip right back to my little happy place. Back on that 9 to 5 again. Steady just working for Saturday. I've been going through the motions, trying to find my way. Never notice if you notice, start smiling way. All dry, stay focused, setting my little pace. And now all I have to say, I was a boy with a plan, that turned me into a man. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Whoops, I did it again. On business is right where I stand. Never been slipping on sand. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Whoops, I did it again. I was a boy with a plan, that turned me into a man. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Oops, I did it again. On business is right where I stand. Never been slipping on sand. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Oops, I did it again. Oh man, there he goes again. Every quarter records rolling in, then the quarters get to rolling in. Turning change right to paper, turning paper to the banks. I can't lie, sucker, save it. So I slip some in the safe, throw the key on my mama. Been worried, but she knows where I've been. I've been grinding down dirty, stay awake till I can. Swear I'm tired, been hurting, but I stick to the plan. I'm alive, I ain't worried, leave the earth where I stand. I've been going through the motions, trying to find my way. Never notice if you notice, start smiling way. All dry, stay focused, setting my little pace. And now all I have to say, I was a boy with a plan, that turned me into a man. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Whoops, I did it again. On business is right where I stand. Never been slipping on sand. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Whoops, I did it again. I was a boy with a plan, that turned me into a man. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Whoops, I did it again. On business is right where I stand. Never been slipping on sand. And man, I keep winning and winning again. Whoops, I did it again. One. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. I can flip it down to $1 million. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on. 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. 3, 2, 1. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on. It's a new day, days been new. Been a decade since I made it out of rent too. We some owners, baby, we don't got no rent due. My trick, but my wife, you like to trick too. Merry Christmas, hey, Saint Nick. What we want, get, we on wait list. How we got here doesn't make sense. Have patience, that'll make sense. 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. I can flip it down to $1 million. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on. 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. 3, 2, 1. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on. Picking up the slack, joining this prime way, I'm getting to the rack. I do what I want, when I want, where I want, no cap. Put in all work, now I'm getting to the back. 25-8, I got money on my mind. Live life great, but I'm always on the grind. Navy blue tank, I don't wear it for the time. Real hustler, baby, throw my rollie in the sky.
Get ready for blast off.
Ball pointing cushy, so you know it's berserk. Trevor on the mix, so you know we gon' work. I might leave in one, find the beach and go surf. I'ma ride the wave till I'm out of this earth. 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. I can flip it down to $1 million. I don't like to brag, but I'm really on. 3, 2, 1. Anywhere I'm at, turn the city up. 3, 2, 1. I don't like to brag.
Yeah, I won't let the meat monster get me this week. I'm gonna beat the meat monster this week. What's going on? What's going on? Not this week. They not like us. Listen. Hey man, thank you guys for being here for another episode of Flipping Tables, man. Y'all know what the topic is tonight. God is red pill. He ain't no better than you niggas. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it tonight, Doc. I got the velvet voice of YouTube himself in the building tonight. What's going on, my boy? Lost in Translation.
Come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
Hey, what's happening, man? What's happening?
Oh man, nothing much, man. You know, I want to discuss something with a deep-minded brother such as yourself. Listen, people completely. First of all, I want to ask you, what were your thoughts on the halftime show last night? I mean, Sunday.
I thought it was pretty decent, man. I really did. I think your boy Kendrick did his thing, man. I thought it was pretty nice.
A lot of people missed a lot of things that were in that performance, from Samuel L. Jackson all the way down. Right. All the little thing, hidden little details inside of it.
Yes.
But you know, a lot of people missed it. A lot of people talk about it. More younger kids, because I was asking one of my daughter was like, I don't like it. I ain't like it. I said, when he said, and I asked the question, I said, when he said that the revolution will not be televised, where did that come from?
You already know that came from the 70s, man.
Exactly. You know and she couldn't answer. I said, right. And I told her, baby, you can't really be against something that you don't really understand what he's saying. Right? You can't be saying the revolution will not be televised came from a 70s concert back in the day where all the R&B singers, everybody from come on, give it to me. Stevie Wonder and everybody came from Motown.
Funkadelics, yeah, all of that.
Yeah, man, it was a beautiful thing, man. So if you don't know history, man, go figure it out. You know, go figure it out, and then you'll see what Kendrick was saying. But anyway, man, we got a good show tonight. We got Corey in the building tonight. What's up, Corey? Good to see you, man. Let's see. We got Cattell already here. What's going on, Sugarfoot?
Indeed.
We got 11 watching so far, so go ahead and hit the like button. Paul Bennett. Yep, there we go.
That's it.
Yeah,
hey,
there we go.
The dragon right there, ain't it?
Into the dragon, baby. Yeah. Mr. Bennett, I think I sent him the link. But Mr. Bennett, I'll see you in a second. But yeah, man, we can continue to talk about it as he come up. But yeah, man, and I'm gonna bring up Arpain too, because Arpain was born in 1903, so he knows a lot about these things as well. So Arpain, whenever he get ready, yeah, we go ahead and bring him up. Arpain's in the building tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, indeed.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much, man. So yeah, man, you know, when Kendrick did what did you think about the Super Bowl halftime performance?
You know, I don't want to be a killjoy. I don't want to blow blue smoke on everybody's euphoria. I listen, all these goddamn messages everybody's reading from this damn halftime show is some of the shit that I think we should leave in the past. It's all bullshit to me. And so it was okay, but as in terms of entertainment, if I had to rank it against all the best halftime shows, it ain't in the top 10.
But before he performed though, he said this is not going to be in it for entertainment. That's why he has.
That's what I'm saying. All the guys who are looking for kinds of subliminal messages and shit, I can dig it. I'm just not with that.
But did you see the subliminal messages? Did you see them though?
Yeah, I know what they listen. I saw the flag with the black folks in it. This whole notion that, you know, like people are making it a big flex that it was all black dancers. I didn't think anything of it. I saw all those black guys out there. I said, okay, great. You know what I'm saying? But people are reading, they got all these black men making the flag. You know what? If every one of those motherfuckers were Americans, I don't see anything wrong with an all black flag with Americans in it.
But
everybody else got all this. Listen, I'm like I said, I didn't want to blow everybody's euphoria, so I'm the wrong guy to answer. After the show I did last night, these messages are shit that's going to leave us behind. That's all I'm saying. We're not going to gain anything from it.
Now, give me an example of what you're saying. Like, going to leave us behind. What do you mean?
Well, because I'm saying, what is it all for? What does it matter? What is it going to do for us? Is it going to take us off the Democratic plantation? Is it going to do anything worthwhile for Black Americans in terms of moving forward? that we got one for the Gipper. I mean, to me, I don't see it. I just don't see it. You know, the only 2 records he played, the one record I wanted to hear was All the Stars Are Closer, because I saw it on Black Panther. And that's another one I recognized. I'm just saying, like I said, I came out saying I didn't want to be contrarian. I want everybody to get all. I mean, Jason Whitlock went crazy on this thing with all the, so he called them demonic messages. I didn't have a problem with Serena dancing the Crip Walk, right? I didn't have an issue with that at all, right? I didn't have an issue with her being out there because she's an entertainer. She's been in the spotlight for her whole life. So the people are trying to make it a big thing that her sister got murdered by the Crips, but she's from that neighborhood, right? You know, so it's her prerogative to say, you know, just because, you know, it's a lot of us from the neighborhood who have tragedy, that doesn't mean we're no longer part of the neighborhood. You know, so I didn't have any issue with the Crip Walk thing. But if she was trying to put out a message of being a Black woman, and every night she's taking sperm for a white man, she's giving out mixed messages. You know, so I you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, I think people are reading too much in it. Okay, you could read all you want in it, but I'm just not buying it all. I want us to move past that, because no matter what, we're not going to be able to pluck ourselves out of the American experiment, because that's exactly where we are. And the sooner we understand that's where we are, the better. That's what I'm saying.
So racism don't exist. We're gonna do a show about that. Racism no longer exists. That's next Tuesday.
I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that.
I didn't say you said it. I'm just saying we're gonna.
But I don't see the fact that you got that out of what I'm saying. Is that's exactly why we need a show like that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I love you.
Exactly why we need a show like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Paul Bennett in the building. The network coming at you live.
We coming in hot right in the beginning, right?
So Mr. Bennett, what were your thoughts about the halftime show?
Oh man, so I'm dating myself here too. I'm not a boomer. I'm definitely an Xer. But I got to tell you guys, rap for me died in about 1996. If you look at my collection, in fact, my wife and I, we went and saw Gary Owen Friday night. BLS in New York, they were playing 90s hip hop. I'm telling you that's just it for me. Late 80s, early 90s hip hop, that's really all I listened to. So honestly, I wasn't really aware of the whole Drake Kendrick beef or whatever, what started it, what came out of it, all the subliminals. I didn't get any of that. My daughter, she just sent me a link from this group breaking down all of the messages and the meanings and how stuff got to where stuff was. I didn't really get the idea if Serena was there, outside of the fact that she's just there doing her Crip Walk thing. But I didn't know that was kind of like a diss back at Drake, because they used to date and he dissed her family and all that. But it's interesting because I was listening to First Take. Stephen A made a comment that everyone came down on him for, was like, you know, why you there? If you know, why you dredging up the dead? That's your ex or whatever. If you got all that energy for him, maybe you need to go back to him. If I'm the husband, I'm like, why? You know, I don't want my wife engaging in any kind of stuff. Even if he did say stuff, let me handle that. But why you going back over that same old ground? So I'm saying, you know, look, you know, now you might be giving Drake ammo. All right, so don't be surprised if something comes out. I won't say what or whatever. I'm saying something else may just drop on her or something embarrassing or whatever, and you just kind of keep these beefs going. I don't like black people just kind of going at it like this, so I'm like I kind of stay out of that stuff. I let the young people kind of go over that. So yes, I show my age here, but again, 90s house music, 90s hip hop. All right. That's the lane I stay in. That's what I grew to most of the time. I seldom have time for the current product, and I seldom listen to it. So I'm the worst person. But I would say this, as far as the performance itself. Now, again, Super Bowl halftime show is generally a performance meant generally, I thought, for the crowd in the arena. The way they shot it, it's like it's a music video. Everything's like in close. The performance, yeah, you got some people dancing. But I'm thinking, how does that look entertaining to the crowd? I mean, if you look at like Bruno Mars and God, Michael and those guys, it's like it was like a spectacle. You know, just like the HBCU marching band, you went there for the bands. You want to see that arrangement, how they did stuff. I didn't see it. Everything was so shot close up that it was like, is this for the crowd? Or if I'm in the stands, I'm going to be looking at the TV monitor most of the time. I'm not going to be looking at the the field, because I don't know half of what's going on there. So I just thought that, you know, it's almost like when my man the Weeknd did it, the COVID performance. It reminded me more of what he did, more so than something else where we're supposed to be. You know, where's the big light shows and explosions and stuff like that? I'm thinking,
right. And I think that's one of the things that that everybody's so like separated or like divided on, because we was talking about it at work today. When he got up and said the revolution will not be televised, we knew then, oh yeah, this ain't gonna be no performance. This motherfucker don't be throwing subliminal shots through the whole thing. And so when you see the up close shots, you see the whole thing is a remote control, and you see when you see the dancers doing this, and the remote control was moving, he's saying that we're being controlled. Like everything had a meaning. Like everything, I was like, shit. Even when Samuel L. Jackson came out and said, "I'm your uncle," Sam. Right, soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna be no performance.
Well, it was interesting that I thought he made the performance, quite frankly. I really, and it reminded me, because I don't know if you guys saw the latest RoboCop movie. I think they made a remake of RoboCop in 2014. He played like this kind of patriotic, kind of conservative guy then. So it was almost like an homage back to that, I thought, from that movie. But yeah, if Samuel wasn't there, I thought that was the only part of it that was really, and like I said, I'd have to watch it again and catch all the stuff that you're talking about. But I thought, you know, he definitely adds in. And gosh, the guy's 78 years old. Salute, shout out to him, man.
Did anybody else wanted to hear, "Hey Calvin"? I was waiting for "Hey Calvin." I'm saying, Jesus.
We got Uncle Jeff in the building tonight, man. What's going on, Uncle Jeff?
Fellas.
It's good to see you.
Hey, man. How's everybody? Good?
Everybody's good, man.
Yeah, man. Y'all hear me all right? I'm sounding all right?
Yeah, you sound good, man.
All right. Here's my thing with Kendrick. I would respect him more as a spoken word artist. I think he would get higher marks there. I just don't get the hype lyrically. Number one, he does too much almost rhyming that we forgive. His last words, 70% of the time, don't exactly rhyme. That's spoken word. When you say it's and my issue with throwing around the greatest ever, 2 words, Mr. Bennett. Did you hear what Mr. Bennett said? He was listening to the golden era of hip hop. So when you say you the best ever, I'm gonna have to bring in Black Thought, the Woo. You better than Ghostface, Red. You better than Method Man. You better than Immortal Technique. Let me go over there. You are better than all of them. You know how you got to be better than all of them? Because the people calling you better than all of them have ignored all of them. I'm talking purely performance. I love the symbolism. Fantastic. The symbolism reminds, but it's been done before. Anybody heard of a guy named LL Cool J who did a damn Gap ad in a FUBU hat?
Man,
it's been done before, and it's been done funkier. X-Clan, it's been done funkier. Jungle Brothers, it's been done funkier. Leaders of the New School, it's been done funkier. Public Enemy, it's been done funkier. Paris, it's been done funkier. Cam. So I ain't mad at the dude at all, but I can fill a short school bus with niggas his age that'll eat his lunch.
Well,
beat for beat. I tell you what, I'll say this and I'll land the plane. I want y'all to look up this name, O-H-E-N-E, Savant, S-A-V-A-N-T. Look up the young rapper Ohaney Savant.
I heard him.
He is the closest thing to Prince in hip hop I have ever seen. He plays the bass, he plays the keys, he plays the drums, he plays the guitar, and then turn around and rap his damn face off on top of it, and is conscious.
Now, Uncle Jeff, let me ask you a question. Lyrically, I'm gonna ask a question.
Sure.
Take all the rappers right now, and we're gonna move on after this because this is a barbershop conversation.
Okay.
But out of all the rappers that you could think of
Mm-hmm.
in the last 50, 60 years,
Mm-hmm.
who is the best rapper lyrically of all time?
Okay. That is hard for me. That's a tough question for me to answer. For just nigga. Listen here. I'm gonna tell you right now why
I got the
you
man
don't.
right here. Google answer this
JT,
question.
what's
You
up?
don't believe it.
I'm gonna tell you right now why you don't hear LL's name being thrown around by nobody, because
Tell
they
me
all
again.
know he will take a break from NCIS, go across town, and with an hour, a pen, and a pad, your ass will be working at Best Buy.
Well, his new record is off the chain, boy. His
Now,
new album is off the chain.
boop, boop. That's the sound of the
Boogie Down
Bruh.
Productions, KRS-One. He's on my Mount Rushmore.
How you
He's
gonna,
on my Mount Rushmore.
man, my number one, my favorite rapper to shut this conversation down with is Chris Parker. He killed all this.
Okay,
The dude, you name me a unfunky, unconscious KRS-One track. Go.
Listen, I said lyrically. Now this is what I want to say.
Okay.
So we can move
Okay.
on.
I tell you,
JT.
okay, I'll say this. I'll shut up. I put KRS up against anybody with no music behind him.
Shit, I know somebody eat him up. JT, who we talking about? JT, that's your boy. He over there where you live at. Come on now, that boy in Detroit. Come on now. I'm just saying, don't nobody want to talk about. You muted. Don't nobody want to talk about that boy on 8 Mile now.
Who, M?
What?
Oh, M ain't no joke, bro. M ain't no joke. And
He
I absolutely respect his lyricism, but he don't touch my soul like L. Either LL, KRS. He don't touch it. Rakim.
I was about to say, what about Rakim?
What?
Yeah, man.
Rakim.
You heard LL Cool J and M's new album?
No.
Together.
Yeah, not lyrically.
L and LL Cool J and Eminem.
They got a song together?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
You need to check that out, Joe. It's worth your time, brother.
LL is if you're talking about just lyrically and cadence and stuff like that. Now KRS ain't gonna be able to withstand. But if you're talking about, like the soul to speak to somebody's consciousness, I give him that. But we got too many people that's lyrically, man, that's dope as hell. They can take that English word.
Come on, brother.
And they can do some things with it.
Reggie Noble.
Yeah, you got Method Man. You got I just had him right there on my mind. Oh, Andre 3000. He's a killer. Even Big Boy out cold.
How y'all gonna leave out Busta?
Wait, hold on. Killer Mike.
Don't put you. Hey, you don't sleep on
Killer Mike is a beast.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very difficult to say of all times, man, because we just got too many favorites that can come out there. And a lot of it does
land
speak.
with our brothers are gods.
Yeah, that's why we got.
Yeah, we can land on that.
Top 5 and top.
We
top
have
5 and top 10.
That's all.
That's all we go with. That's
Jeff. We have to scrape the whole mountain off, man.
Yeah, we got 5+ decades of hip hop. So
all right, I'm gonna say this. We can land on that, but I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna go move on. I can't see any rapper right now, right, that no music, just straight from the dome in a rap battle. I can't see nobody stepping to M and even being successful.
no, wait, hold up. Let me just tell you, Eminem has done a duet with a couple of people, and I can tell you right now, it's very underrated. Unless you heard, I'm gonna tell you, they step up to him now. Quit playing. Lil Wayne, he has a song with Lil Wayne. All you got to do is go listen to it, and you're gonna see what I'm saying.
Lil Wayne's
what Eminem does is he pushes the best to that point, man. You got to bring that pen out.
Yeah,
when you step in with him, you're going to have to bring that pen out. But it's been a couple of people that he's did duets with, man. You got to listen, because when they go, you know how rap is. It's kind of like they're in competition also. Although they're doing, duets and things like that, it's still because of the spirit of what hip hop is. They like, my lyrics got to be, my 16 gonna have to be the hottest one on the track, and that's what they do. So,
and that's what LL said. LL said when he did the record with M, he went in and laid the track. Then he said M went in. He said M, he said he wrote his in about 30 minutes. He was done. He said
that new album is fire.
Yeah, he said M came in and he said M, you need time to get ready. He just got off the plane. He said no, I'm good. He said M went in that motherfucker as soon as he got off the plane, went in the booth, boom. That verse right there, what you hear on the album, is what he did. Right? LL Cool J said, "Hey, delete that first. My first one I did, delete that shit. I gotta go over again."
He got one with Nas. He got one with Nas also.
Okay.
LL Cool, you right, Uncle Jeff. That's the longevity right there. He showed it.
Dude, it's some cats out there. I can't think of this brother's name. He's out of the Bay, light skinned dude. First off, the best hip hop comes from the minds who have dealt with pain the best.
Yeah,
the strongest minds to deal with this shit we are in. The weakest minds go to I sell dope, I'll shoot you. Same neighborhood, same instances, same prison. You can't say it's prison. My song, you can't say it's prison. Same consequences, same environment. Breeds a KRS-One and whatever ignorant ass, mouthful of gold ass nigga you want to put up next to that.
Yeah. All right, now I will say this and then we're gonna move on. It says here, I just got a notification on my phone. They said that Kendrick Lamar's performance at the Super Bowl has superseded Michael Jackson's by 100,000 views.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, by views, of course, because along with Michael Jackson, a great many of Michael Jackson's fans have died.
Yeah, so that made Kendrick Lamar #1 at the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah,
if you're just counting popularity, I'll give you that. Absolutely, yes.
Can I squeeze this in there real quick? And y'all talk
about pause.
Yeah, do what y'all gotta do. And since y'all talking about artists and I don't hear nobody mention it, but he recorded over 700 songs in his short lifetime.
Ooh.
So man, give it up to Tupac.
Tupac Amaru Shakur.
Hands down, all the way. He's the only rapper that had a class in his name in college. So everybody else is just rapping. But they good though. I grew up on KRS-One, Rakim.
You could have
see LL. Went to see all that, man. It's a great LL is stronger than ever now.
You could have kept that, coach.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
I go by what they did as far as in the music.
Okay.
700 songs to me.
Okay. I tell you
Mike
what.
was good. But
y'all got y'all everybody got their favorite. I'm just saying.
See me coming. Whenever niggas try to diminish Pac in any way, I give them one song. The same song by Digital Underground. Listen to his little part in there, and you tell me, and then you talk all the shit you want after that.
I don't diminish Pac. Let me just say this: he is not as great as people try to make him out to be. It's funny when a person dies, how great they say that they are. But let me tell you why he was. Can I say what?
That's not fair.
That's wrong. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
You can't say Pac been gone for 30 years. You can't say nothing about him. Let me just say it. I've always followed Pac. I've always followed his music and everything. Wasn't nobody really dealing with Pac until he came out with all that thug shit. Quit playing. The one album that he did that I was like, damn, this was the shit. He was in prison. He didn't even get a chance to promote that album. And the only song that they play to this day is the song I really don't like. And that Dear Mama song. I can't stand that song. When that album was a whole lot better. The man didn't even get a chance to promote his album. He was in prison when the album came out and it did not do what it was supposed to do. Before that, the other two albums that he did, wasn't nobody on the West Coast feeling him. It was people like myself that was. The ones when he was really speaking what he was speaking. When he had that New York, that Jersey, when he had that.
Okay,
and so when he had that, did nobody really start messing around with Pac until he had All Eyes on Me?
Okay.
Quit playing. And now he the best rapper of all times. Come on, man. Y'all tripping.
Okay. I just got a couple questions. All right. I need to know after when Tupac was a roadie for Digital Underground. That's when he came out with the same song. And when you say nobody on the West Coast, I'm gonna have to push back a little bit on that, JT, because I had just got out of the Marines. I was stationed here on the West Coast. I've been here since '84. So I need to know at what point did they stop after same song fucking with Ice Cube? I mean, excuse me, Tupac. When you say that the West Coast wasn't.
So this is what I could say to that. Nobody even know who Tupac was when he came out with that. When people actually knew who Tupac was, he was Bishop. He was Bishop on Juice. Let's get that understood first. He was Bishop on Juice. He didn't even have an album out when he did same song. He was when he said Tupac come out and rock this. Now I came around with the underground. When he came with that right there, if you even hear how Shock even referred to him, he didn't call him Pac as short. What did he call him as short? Anybody? He called him Two.
How does any of that diminish him?
No, I didn't say diminish him. I'm saying that people are aggrandizing this man as if they were digging his whole body of work.
You ain't let nobody else say anything.
JT, I'm gonna say what you ain't saying.
Okay.
Michael Jai White, who is a martial artist.
There you go.
All right, is Tupac's homeboy. Michael Jai White say he saw Tupac go from a flamboyant little boy
to a thug,
to a so-called thug,
Bishop,
in about 6 years. And he said Tupac ain't always been no tough guy. He said go back and watch Tupac in them pink wife beaters and with them and acting all flamboyant. He said just watch the videos. He said that's my homeboy and I love him. He said but I hated what the industry did to him because Tupac was a flamboyant poet. He was not a rapper, and they created him and gave him this whole persona that he was this tough guy. Then he started living that shit, getting locked up, doing dumbass shit. And he said he had to separate himself from Tupac for a while.
Okay.
Because they created this tough guy when he was really a flamboyant poet.
Okay. And absolutely true. Now, what I'm trying to do is figure out this time frame that you're talking about, JT, because the same song came out in 1991.
It was the soundtrack for what? The Dan Aykroyd movie.
Yes, Nothing But Trouble.
It was the soundtrack.
You're right.
It was a soundtrack for that. And Tupac, didn't nobody really know who Tupac really was.
Until, hold on.
Y'all be tripping, man.
Here's the problem. This would make a lot of sense if Juice came out in 2012, but it didn't. Came out in 1992.
I know, and the only thing that people knew was him playing Bishop, not him, Tupac, as the rapper. That's my whole point. He was known as a rapper
that's
first.
Where you're dead wrong. Okay. You are dead wrong.
Okay, he was a dancer. He was a background dancer for Digital Underground.
Okay, but absolutely right.
What JT's saying is true. It's true. All of that's true, JT. I'm talking about his rap ability to rock a crowd, rock a dance hall.
Yeah,
I heard him in Texas. I heard him in the South when I was riding the South.
He was a great
Tupac
rapper.
was-
I never said he
was
wasn't.
I'm just saying, as far as my best artist, and you know, everybody got their favorite. You know what I'm saying? Eminem is okay, but Tupac, his legacy that he started from, whatever issues he had,
life was just too short.
Yeah, that's it. He was, to me. That's so.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna start. What? That was a good icebreaker right there, boy.
Well, it's just inaccurate, bro. It's inaccurate.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it on Jeff Friday. I promise you, we're gonna have the whole show.
Yeah, we got to bring this back.
Yeah, we're gonna do this Friday for sure.
It's gross. There's a gross inaccuracy because JT didn't finish the sentence.
Yeah, we gotta run that back, man.
Yeah, just leave it to us. California, man. They go hard for Tupac, and the man came from Harlem, and even the people in Harlem.
I thought we was leaving it alone.
If
we're not leaving it alone.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
You're not gonna get your last word on me and think I wasn't gonna come back on you.
Okay.
Watch your man. Now we can leave it alone.
All right, we'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone.
Okay, guys. So
we'll leave it alone. Fair enough.
I got two videos like I normally do before we get into the meat of the show falls. All right, and we're gonna play this one first. Here we go.
I'm real with you for 1 second. These brothers in the Dominant Club, what really started to break my heart, they lost many of their bros over pussy. Had nothing to do with motives. You got these women that get caught up. You screwing this dude over here in this Dominant Club. You the property of this dude over here in this Dominant Club. You the wife to somebody that ain't even in a club. And now we fighting over community pussy. And we've lost too many of our brothers over that. I'ma just keep it real with y'all. And as a woman, I'm very heartbroken over it. It's too many women that have paved the way within this community for us to get the respect from the men, and it doesn't come by the things that we hold between our legs, okay? That's a prize for you and one other, not the community. Need us women to conduct ourselves as the mothers that we need to be, the sisters that we need to be, the daughters that we need to be, and then to build a legacy among real. Which.
All right. All right, guys. What are your thoughts? We'll start with you, Uncle Jeff.
Okay. Number one, the sister is absolutely right in that the cause of this problem, again, is the absence of fathers. The absence that is one part of it, because they, fortunately or not, I grew up in Chicago in the 70s with 3 pimps in my literal family, electric color suit, car matching pimps. And I saw the good and the bad and the ugly of how to treat a woman. These dudes were taught how to treat women by women. If you listen closely to a woman, she doesn't give her son good advice to date the girl he's dating. She gives her son good advice for the girl he's dating. Because she cannot come from a man's point of view. It's impossible. Number two, and the biggest part of this, is this phenomenon came along because we started treating nice girls like hoes and hoes like nice girls. Hoes got a place. They got a place. It's just that back in the day, the upstanding sisters didn't move like hoes. They didn't dress like hoes. They didn't talk like hoes. We started treating them and flip-flopping them because daddies left. So there's a lot of that we gonna have to hold. And then I'm gonna land the plane. What you are seeing is the genesis of the Black woman being held accountable by the Black woman. And that's the only answer for them. That's the only way out of this for them.
Mr. Bennett?
I'm certainly aligning with a lot of what she's saying, but when you tell me that we lost a lot of black men over that, I'm sorry, I don't absolve Black men from that. I think everyone has agency. So if you getting caught out there by chasing the sex or what have you. I think you need to take some agency over your body. And I'm tired of these arguments. Well, men are going to be men, and we've been doing this for thousands of years, and this is our nature and all that. I'm sorry. When you start to see these kind of results, men have to start asking themselves the question, what do you want? And you have to start to model what you want. So again, to Uncle Jeff's point, he said, who started treating women like hoes and hoes like nice girls? Who started doing that? Was it us? And if it is, then again, we need to re-examine that as well. So I think there's plenty of blame to kind of go around. I don't know, you want to say what caused what? I'm not so much interested in causality. But what's going to get us out of this? Certainly women holding women accountable, but brothers, we need to step up as well and not be so concerned with the box and get down to purpose and getting to what we need, and then seeking out what we want as far as the type of woman we want to pair with. So I think there's plenty to go around, but I'm not going to put this on one side or the other.
Now, pussy is very powerful, Mr. Bennett. Pussy has started wars.
It certainly
It started wars.
Yeah.
A lot of motherfuckers have died.
Yeah.
And I agree with her. Think about it, Mr. Bennett. Say, for instance, I'm dating Bathsheba, and then Bathsheba leaves me unknowingly to me, like she said, and go on the other side of town and say, "Hey, Big Daddy Bennett," and then you with her. Then one day I go to the other side of town to Kroger's, and I see you with Bathsheba, and I think she mine, but she really yours. I pull out a gun and I kill you. Whose fault is it? I think that's what she was alluding to. Who's playing games? Whose fault is it? If she's dating you and dating me, and you on one side of town, I'm on the other side of town, and I'm being said, "Nigga, why you with my woman?" And you say, no. And Mr. Ben, you calm. No, this is mine. And I say, "Oh, okay, bye." Whose fault is it?
It's the man with the gun. It's whoever taught the man with the gun that there was some kind of pussy shortage. It's whoever.
But I'm unknowingly though.
Well, if you want to use the Bathsheba example, her husband was fighting a war for David. So I can't even look. I'm sacrificing my life for you. I'm fighting wars for you, and I can't even leave my woman by herself. And you got 700 other women anyway.
Yo, but Mr.
And you still going after her as well. So so again, there's responsibility all around.
Naked,
naked in front of the window. Now, let's come on now.
She was bathing naked so he could cover her from the window.
So again, that
wasn't no accident. It wasn't no accident. I mean, we can't.
So she intentionally bathed naked in front of him to get
in front of the king. Yeah. So, well, she knew what a man would do.
Why is that so hard for you?
Outside.
Let me just say this though. I'm not attacking you, Mr. Bennett. One of the things in these arguments with men and women, there's blame to go around, but it's not. We can't equivocate. It's not equal blame. I mean, every time we do this, we can't get nowhere because it's not equal. I mean, there's some things there's more men, and there's some things there's more women. We got too many receipts to discount male nature. From the beginning of time till now, it's just too many receipts. Now, when women who have men kill each other over them know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They pit one man against the other. Yes, they do. So I mean, so from
again, that even if I agree with your point,
I'm going to say this one thing. There's men like you who could control themselves, but there's 10 times many men like you who can. That's the deal. We're gonna always have men whose intention is to get boxed. We're gonna always have them. We could try to wish them away and dream them away and all that shit. They're not going nowhere. I'll land it there.
Shahrzad Ali said, "How many women have signed their men death certificate today?" And she went on to say, "I need to find this."
That's a clarion call for men. As I just said, I said that the idea of trying to assign blame, I think, is almost meaningless.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to get us anywhere in terms of who started what or how to start it. But every person has agency over themselves. And if you see conditions that are in front of you where a guy is willing to sacrifice his life over this kind of stuff, I'm sorry. I think we have to step up, and we have to, control our natures. I mean, we are human beings. We're not animals. So I just think that you can only run that argument so long before you start to saying, look, I'm not gonna, risk my life over a woman. I'm just not gonna do that.
But Mr. Ben, you have to understand this though.
The toughest things any man has ever done is turn down a nice piece of willing, steaming ass piece of pussy.
Yeah.
This lady
like that.
to the video, the lady, she's
Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to go in a few minutes.
this is the,
Can y'all like that shit?
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, to the video, listen, man, brothers ain't lost they self. If she's talking mentally, psychologically, it's one piece of that lost their self. Brothers ain't never lost they self to no piece of pee. Never.
What?
Black man has always been, listen, if it ain't, listen, we lost, listen. What in time, hold up. What in time, because I'm looking at it like literally losing. Brothers get caught up in the pee, but most brothers still got to figure it out chasing the pee. Come on, man. Most brothers
There's
ain't out here.
cemeteries full of them
No,
dudes.
hold on. What I'm saying is, but what I'm saying is, if a guy's going into a situation and he's knowing a woman is sleeping with another man, he gets what he gets. But to be a few side, if a brother doesn't know and she's playing both sides, then she gets what she gets to both sides. But a brother ain't gonna turn down no ass if it's a woman that he like anyway.
That's
But
not
see,
true.
but this lady's not holding the women responsible. She's not. She's saying, because she's backhanded saying the women we all out here fucked up, moving stupid. She's saying it without telling the women, holding them responsible. Brothers, I'm talking about from the time I can remember as a teenager, we wouldn't delete each other as teenagers across the country. We was out here working, playing sports, playing basketball. Then the dope came in behind us when we was all in our early 1920s. Some of y'all was in high school and y'all seen brothers deleting each other the same age from coast to coast. What are we talking about? So brothers, we lost a lot of good brothers based off the violence that we ain't even violent today. Based off we violent to each other, we still trying to figure out how to stand up against a system that keeps us communicating about just who's the best rapper and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So this woman, she's not speaking. The women like her need to tell the women, stop moving a certain way. Stop showing all your, it need to be more Mrs. Shahrazad Ali's speaking to the young women today, because like Brother Ben is speaking, a man should be responsible. That's messages for young men. And young men, by default, we ain't just out here got women running up on us. We got to try to figure out how to talk to a woman. We got to go through all that process. So I agree. If he's doing that type of movement, then would have success later. But our pain said, these women, the guy ain't gonna turn them down if he's untaught by a man, and she's not holding the women accountable at all. It's just we gotta, get back to doing stuff. How they done lost it? Get back to just nurturing a child, a young boy, a young daughter, not letting the girls run around just reckless. The kids are slower. All the young boys are overweight now, and just it's a whole lot of bad stuff that wasn't happening when I don't know Brother Bennett. Jeff, Gen Xers, we was out here playing in the park, talking to girls, going, So, and I graduated high school in 1986. So it wasn't like it. And when I went to the South, everything was just, I don't know, here we are, man. But
Right,
the women got a hold of it.
Lost in translation.
So this is the thing. We've been doing the same thing, talking to people in masses and things like that. I think we still don't got it right. The lesson and the message has to come directly from your parents now. And if it doesn't come from your parents, you ain't listening to nobody else right now. What we have right now is a United States full of hard-headed people. And what's happening is that their outcomes are being more and more less desired because they're not doing what they're supposed to do and walking in the path of righteousness. So when we're talking about what that woman was saying, she's speaking something to the masses. But for it to be more effective, it has to come from someone that's just as close. That has to be close. Close. You gotta have that. And that's where we keep coming up short. I'm not looking for no strangers to be telling my kids that they're doing wrong and they gotta walk in path. Now, if the message is out there, that's a great thing. It has to be reinforced with me and their mom. It has to be reinforced with my mom that's still here. Aunties and uncles, and anyone else that's close to you, telling the truth to the younger folks. We're not going to have it because we have broken people that are my age and older. And it's just going to keep being this cycle until we can get some people that's in our families that have the courage. Oh, it's easy to get. It's way more easy to get on here, get on the microphone, talk about what women need to do and what men need to do, and you ain't talking to nobody directly, than it is for you to sit back and you see that your little niece, your son, your daughter is out of pocket. It's way easier for a person to tell somebody else that than it is for you to tell your own immediate family.
Real talk.
I just ended there.
All right, lost in translation.
You know, I'm more of an absolutist, man. You knew doggone well when you laid down that wasn't your wife. You knew doggone well when you laid down that wasn't your husband. That's why we complicate things, man. When you want to slip and sneak across town, you know what I'm saying? In this example, what BMU was catching Mr. Bennett in the grocery store, that wasn't your wife. No, you really can't get mad. I would hate for you to pull a pistol out and shoot Mr. Bennett over something that didn't belong to you.
Mate.
That's exactly what she was talking about, the community.
Just my turn.
It's on the line. You know doggone well that wasn't your wife, so why you get mad, player? You know this the game. You know what it is. That's the problem. Nobody wants to play the game straight up. You know what I'm saying? I think I heard Samuel L. Jackson say it on one of them movies. He said even a cricket game is fun to play every now and then. But it seems to me everybody just want to play cricket. Nobody want to play the game straight up no more. You know, you do the work, you find your wife, you sit down, you go about your business. You know what I'm saying? You have your family and keep going. But it seems like nobody wants to get married because everybody feel like they're going to miss out on something. You know, maybe it's somebody else better around the corner. You know, I think that's the problem. That's the issue. That's the reason why we have so many people not wanting to get married, because there's too much advantages to them in the streets, allegedly. You know, that's all I got to say about that, man.
Yeah, I think the faucet is on. I think the faucet is running real hard. I think what I mean by that is back in the day, you know, you had songs where women stood up and said, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. And women was like, yeah, gotta marry me, where my ring at? Right? Now it's you're married and nobody respects that union no more. Women don't respect that union. Oh, he married. Oh, you could go to one right now and she'd be like, damn, he fine. And you're like, girl, that man married. So that's what women are saying now. So
Mr. Bennett, they will do it. They hunt me.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but them kind of songs, look, some of the favorite songs that women be singing to go all the way back to the 70s, man. Come on now. Secret love. That's who we are.
Yeah.
So fine.
I tell you what.
And Mr. Bennett, you, me, and he, what we gonna do, baby?
And women be singing that, man. I mean, hard they be on that one, man. If loving you was wrong, I don't want to be right.
I tell you who's also taking love to your old lady.
Mrs. Jones.
That's that Mrs. Jones, exactly.
Me and Mrs. Jones, the ultimate.
Music is not what tells you who cheats more. It is literature and movies. I dare you to look at your wife's favorite shit. It's all got some cheating in it. All of the
soap operas, yeah,
all the novels,
all the novels, and all of the series. I couldn't even be mad at my wife about her favorite shit because it was all of it. All of these series, there's some woman pining for some other dude.
Okay, hold on, Uncle Jeff.
Always.
Uncle Jeff, do you remember this one? It's not very easy living alone. My friends try and tell me to find a man of my own, but each time I try, I just break down and cry because I'd rather be all feeling blue. So I'm saving all my love.
Oh my gosh.
For you, side chick anthem.
Number one side chick song, bro.
No. This the number one side chick. So this is you right. The side dude song is this.
As we lay.
The side dude song is this. This is the side dude song. Me and Mrs. Jones.
How about it?
We got a thing.
Oh my God.
You got pause on it.
He said we meet at the same cafe.
See?
What he said? He said, we both know that it's wrong. He said, dang, I forgot.
The number one song.
Yeah, it was,
but it's much too strong.
But it's much too strong.
Go now. Yeah, it's over, man. It's the number one song, man.
It's a beautiful song that you.
She said, "Sugar."
Oh yeah, Love Train, yeah.
That was a true song. That was a true song.
That was nasty too. That was nasty too, because she told the guy in the song she was laying up in the bed with dude.
Yes,
and you still trying to go over there to hit it.
And
that's some grimy stuff, man.
They're in the same band. They all were in the same band.
All of them. Nasty hope. All right. So
that's the jam, though, man.
Now I got a video.
Oh man, you finna move on? Okay.
Yeah, I got a video.
And we got all this back on Friday. So you got the rap. So you got the rap controversy, and then what's the top adultery song of all time? So you're gonna have those two battles on Friday.
Rolling night.
Loving you is wrong. I don't want to be.
Luther Ingram.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play this one because I found a video. A lot of our sisters say that it's time, Uncle Jeff. It's time, Coach Bird, Mr. Bennett, JT, RP, Lost in Translation. It's time that Black women started to reach out and outsource their men. It's time to go and get white daddy. And we've seen this on platforms, and we've seen it that women say, "Hey, it's time." And so I wanted to just celebrate this married couple. This is an interracial couple, white man, black woman. They're married. And I wanted to share their story with you guys and see what you guys thought about it, how they met and how they got married.
My little raggedy car I had at the time, because I was a single. My little raggedy car I had at the time, because I was a single mom and I was working and I was making it happen. But it was a junk heap.
It was.
All right. I already said it was a junk heap. Watch yourself. So it was a junk heap. This man took me to Redbird Nissan, walked me up in there from the showroom floor, and bought me a brand new car while we were dating, and I had not given him any real commitment. Now that sold me.
You think? Because women want security.
And it just sold me. And from that point, I started to really kind of let my walls come down. I was like, this man is not even getting, like, to be really honest, the physical. I mean, he met a felt need. He knew that there was a need there. My son and I, needed transportation to get him to daycare. I needed to get to my job. And not even being my husband, he started to take on the role of a husband.
That's what I was about to say right there.
My little raggedy car I had at the
her walls came down.
Walls.
You talking about Willis?
Lost in translation. We're gonna
sure he did.
We're gonna start you Lost because Mr. Bennett was taking his head the whole time. Lost. What are your thoughts about this lovely couple?
Listen, I bet her wall did come down after he bought her car. Let me tell you something. That was a hell of a twin in the front.
You hear what I said?
And a 40 in the back all day long. You know what I'm saying? Here's my thing. I can't believe that people would actually sit up here and believe this story. I don't think that's what really happened. The car broke down all of a sudden on the side of the road, and he comes riding in on a horse. Ma'am, I'm going to take you to the dealership. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to buy you a car. At what point were they dating? She said, we were just dating. How did you have this conversation? How did this whole thing get started, man? You see what I'm saying? It's too much stuff that's got to be filled in. But my whole thing is this, you know, whatever it takes for them to be happy, that's all right with me. But I don't buy the story at all. I don't.
Maybe we didn't hear it good enough.
My little raggedy car I had at the time, because you know I was a single mom and I was working and I was making it happen. But
single mama working, and she was making it happen, guys. Okay, listen up. This is important. Okay.
It was a junk heap.
It was.
All right. I already said it was a junk heap. Watch yourself. So it was a junk heap. This man took me to Redbird Nissan, walked me up in there from the showroom floor, and bought me a brand new car while we were dating. And
then the walls came down.
I had not given him any real commitment.
I wasn't even committed to you, nigga. Okay.
Now that sold me.
I bet it did.
I bet it did.
And women want security.
And it just sold me. And from that point, and that sold me.
Listen to this punk ass nigga here.
Yeah, you think? And women want security.
And it just sold me. And from that point, I started to really kind of let my walls come down. I was like, this man is not even getting, like, to be really honest, the physical.
So she wouldn't even give me no ass.
That thing bought and paid for me.
Man, he wasn't getting no ass. She wasn't committed to you. You was in the friend zone, brother. You brought the car and she said, okay, I feel sorry for you. I'll be with you.
Yeah. So is she busting it out with somebody else from time to time?
She got 2 kids, 2 baby daddies.
Let me tell you something. Good. I hope he take more of them. I hope all of them dudes take those women. Woo. We don't need them. Those the ones that need to get the hell on. We need more of those dudes. Yes. Outsource. I want them lazy ladies that don't want to do no work to outsource. Get all those Billy Bob Thornton looking dudes that got money and go and be with them. Yes. Go and be with them. Go over there. Leave us the hell alone. Yes.
I beg your pardon.
Couple of problems.
You get
So
what you
if I was to use
deserve.
a scientific term, that would be he's an antioxidant.
That's funny. I got a couple problems with that,
He's an
JT.
antioxidant.
Number one, although you are absolutely right, here's the problem, dear black women. The white man know right where you at because his granddaddy put you there. There's no Eastern European oil baron roaming the hoods of your city looking to take your kids to Chuck E. Cheese and do your breaks. You are going to have to deal with us, or you're going to be in the wilderness. There's a wilderness coming. We can all see it, except those who are ignoring it. Number two, I'm not going to speak on this woman's fidelity or not. What I will speak on is the fact I'd be willing to bet my pinky finger that a brother who bought her a car up front would be considered a sucker.
He is too. She just ain't saying it.
Friends. Oh, no. The difference between sucker and savior is skin color. It's skin color. She don't see the dude. I'm trying to tell you. That's why I can't. Bruh, I'm not finna say that woman is dipping out on this dude. She might not be.
I hope she don't.
Stay
with him.
I'm gonna give her that. But I'm gonna call a thing a thing.
You better
that you and your friends, you like this dude. This dude, okay, much easier to keep in check.
Yeah.
Because he ain't gonna run up behind you.
Much easier.
Man, you gonna
because much easier to pull your black shit out on him because he wasn't raised with it. It's a little hard to get niggerish when the nigga next to you was raised in the same nigga soup you was. It's a bunch of shit she get away with, a bunch of ways she snap that a nigga gonna go hippity hop mom stop. We ain't even finna do that. Don't even try it. The nigga who is you playing with? Bunch of that. So yeah, more power to you. There is a 2 million black woman surplus. You can go do whatever it is you like. You cannot, there is no way to thumb us in the eye, ladies. There's nothing you can say that's going to make you pull equal to us. There is a surplus of you. Go. There's too many. The 8 out of 10 of you were tired of. Go.
Mr. Bennett, when you saw this lovely couple, what did you think of the lovely couple and what they were talking about?
No, she said, "Oh, and that really sold me." No, you were bought and paid for. I mean, yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, that's simple. But I don't have much to add to what Jeff was saying. Again, if that was a black guy, he'd be considered, a simp. But there's a white guy needs a savior, and yeah. So I have no qualms. I have no qualms with that. But to me that's an easy sell. So I mean, if and the fact that she didn't say, "Oh no, I can't do that." Now the way I was raised, or women around my time growing up, even if you were dating someone, if the guy bought you gifts too early, as a father, you told him give those gifts back. He's not buying you. So you start showing up 1-2 weeks. Oh, look, Dad, he bought me this gold chain. Oh, look, he bought me this or whatever. If you were a father, you say, give it back. We don't do that here. So dude's going to go and buy her a car. And she wasn't going to push back on it. So, they get what they get, I guess. But it's a different mindset than what I recall growing up with. You couldn't buy a sister back in the day, but I guess now you can. So
well, actually, you could, but we used to call them hoes. Remember, we back to hoes.
Well, yeah, I'm talking. I'm talking.
You killing it. As a matter of fact, did anybody else hear that? Mr. Bennett said you thought that you was out shopping and you was really on sale.
You know what I don't like, man? I don't like the hypocrisy. Think about what she just said. She said that when at the beginning she never talked about his character and all this other stuff. It was only when he bought her a car is when her walls came.
Walls came down. Her walls came down a long time ago.
Man, it wasn't his kindness. It wasn't none of this other stuff. It was only when he walked into the showroom floor.
Redbird Nissan.
Was when the walls came
showroom floor, down. Not even on the lot.
Man.
At the showroom floor. So you're getting like the best car in the dealership.
Not in the sun or nothing.
It wasn't in the back with the surplus car.
When he gave
it had to scratch more stickers off this car. You know what I'm saying?
So I was probably rotating on the thing. They used to have them turntables, the cars used to roll.
Your self-worth has an MSRP.
Maroney tells it all.
A sticker on the window. I can buy you for $24,949. I'll take it. And on payments.
Yes.
Go ahead, Coach.
Did they ever mention how long they've been married?
You have to watch the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
she's an older female, so yeah, I think most sisters, 80% of them in a situation like that, somebody just walk in and buy them whatever car. I mean, for us, we'll have to buy him a Phantom or something, something that's $300,000, but he bought a car and he accepted the children because she's an older one. She's probably my age or so. So at some point they're gonna have to make, like Just said, they're gonna have to make a decision to move like that. But I don't know, man. Most women 21 to her age will probably think that they can do that, and it don't work like that. It don't work like that. They don't let you tell them what to do. Like him, he's old, probably ain't never had nothing, regular working guy, but it ain't gonna move like it. Now that they got some money, now you gonna get a regular dude, and a lot of those guys be they ain't even working like that. They ain't paying for nothing. They sitting over being house husbands for real. They ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. Let these people tell it. Yeah, she deserved it. Finally get some happiness. She's been a baby mama all her life, so somebody save her. Somebody save her.
They go coach trolling again. That's that trolling shit right there. That's what I be talking about right now.
She said she had kids, right? So yeah, I was right. Yeah, see,
she by happenstance had kids because she kissed somebody. She knew she was gonna have them damn kids.
Like, man,
but she already had them though. She already had them. So
what kind of car did he buy her?
A Nissan.
Altima. Is that?
I'm
what
just
it is?
saying. If he said showroom, now look,
car of the century. The
Nissan Larry's Altima. Used auto does not have a showroom.
No, the Nissan Altima is the official car of the bitter single black woman. That's the official car.
It is.
Go look in the back seat. You're gonna see Thursday's Club outfit and an upside down McDonald's bag next to a dirty car seat.
A few stale fries, petrified.
I have seen it so many times because back in the day, they thought they was doing something when they got that car. They thought that was the car. Nigga, why you think she spit that shit out like that? She said that like she was saying something. Doc. That this man. And what it's a sad state, but basically what she was saying is that I need help. That's I mean on a human level, to feel it on a human level, but to have to abandon your own man because he's abandoned you already, just because you won't turn away from your ways. That's who we talking to. You looking for some place to take your ways. And you are not going to take those ways to anybody's A+ man. Because first off, everybody else's A+ man is marrying their women. That's just number one. That don't happen often. I have the dopest white brother-in-law in the world, and it's a fucking anomaly. I don't know many dudes like this dude. I know which way he gonna start shooting. I know which way he's shooting when they start shooting. But for the most part, it's desperate, pathetic, ignorant, and shameful that black women, the ones who are doing it in mass, are looking for a way still to thumb black men in the eye when we are in chapter 2 of the apocalypse.
Okay, hold on now, because that ain't the only couple that this man had on there, and you're right. This is happening a lot.
About to get good.
This is happening a lot, and I want y'all to see this.
Members that aren't in agreement with your marriage is age as well as race.
That's Randolph.
Somewhat, yes.
And what would you say to those family members who aren't in agreement with your union based on those two things?
By and large, I have accepted their opinions without criticism. And the theme is that I'm happy. And I want to be happy in the future. And let it go at that.
What future, nigga? You dead.
Right. You got 2 summers, maybe.
at least
2 Christmases.
Get the fuck out of here.
You got 2 Christmases.
Do y'all see that? Do y'all see this? Bro,
I say 1 year from Weekend at Bernie's.
No, listen. That's what I'm saying. Let them go.
Mr. Bennett.
Let them go right there.
Mr. Bennett.
You'll find out that he gave all his inheritance to his real wife.
Well, you heard what he said? You got to watch the whole episode. In the episode, he said the kids told her, you ain't getting, you think you with our daddy, but you ain't getting a fucking thing when my daddy died. But they married. They married. She's good. She's 40. How old do you think he is?
He got to be about
78. Got to be in his
80s. White folks age bad. He could be about 46.
He had past Methuselah, man. I'm telling you.
She's older than him.
He's 93.
Yeah, she older than him.
Wow. 93.
He's 93.
Wow.
How old do you think she is?
She's
probably about 40.
30. I say 30.
43.
Yeah,
43.
So she can get rid. So hold on, she with a man that's gonna expire like license, and she's gonna live the rest of her life with the man that she want with that money. She's gonna get in that inheritance.
No, she not. That's not gonna happen. She gonna end up going the same place that the white lady that the last one that married an old ass man.
Hey, Anna Nicole Smith.
Anna Nicole Smith is where she going. She gonna hurt.
Yeah, but did she get any of that money? Because I know his kids tried to stop her also.
She got 25
I'm saying, but did she get the money or not? Because I know the kids tried to block her.
25 million.
Yeah, she did.
But this ain't gonna be that. He's doing what they gonna do. This man
That's
is
not a bad
sowing,
deal though, because that guy was a billionaire, right?
But he's sowing his old wild oats before he go. They gave him his
What oats?
I'm telling you, that's all he's doing. He's having fun. He already know what's up.
Right. But this is the thing.
I don't know what pill could save that.
Yeah, he's just
No, that's
watching it
okay.
get
I
wild.
think y'all need to look at what Music Man put up. Look at what he said.
Which one?
To what?
To right
one?
under Chandra Field, 718.
718.
Yeah.
Right under Chandra. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
That right here. This one.
Yeah. Look at that right there.
My uncle had a girlfriend who married a white man, and would let my uncle bust her back out.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna go ahead and be the corn aficionado here and tell you that is a category called cuckold. CUCKOLD.
Oh yeah. That's biblical.
That dude, this dude right here, you don't know who he let pipe down in front of him, and that's how he gets.
He 90. He don't give a fuck. If I'm 90, I don't give a fuck. If I want to go out there and get some exotic ass woman.
He talking about the comment.
He be in the bed by 7:30.
Yeah, he getting off on watching. That's what he's doing.
Yes. Yes.
So,
but man don't have the blue pill, man. He
mad at his family. He mad at his family.
Do you understand how dangerous this is with the black lady and the old white man? It's very dangerous if he have children, right? She's not going to get anything. It's going to make her life even worse because his children is older than she is. And okay, you can say it's not, but I'm telling you right now, what's going to happen is that her and Nicole Smith and Uncle Charles is all going to be singing lullabies. That's just what it is.
But if they're
kids ain't going to let that woman. Marriage don't mean a damn thing. When you got gangsters, people get gangster when you start taking advantage of their family. That man is just. This is the thing. Let's keep it 100. This man is still, he still has his follicles. Probably don't have them all there because of how old he is, but it seems like he's taking care of himself. If he's 90-some years old and he's still out here marrying and talking to motherfuckers and going to the justice of the peace. So at some point, his kids is like, damn, we can't keep the nigga from driving. We can't keep the nigga from doing shit. And then he get this broad. Now but they like, okay, we gonna do something to you. They just, man, that's a dangerous ass thing she playing right there. That's a dangerous game she playing.
Dangerous for who? Dangerous game.
For her. You don't.
Look like she got it under control to me. It's not gonna be dangerous for him.
Okay, let's pretend I get in order for what
running up on some sunshine.
In order for what JT is saying to be invalid, we're gonna have to invalidate a gang of movies. We're gonna have to just get rid of most of the movies in the late 20th century. Are you serious, gentlemen? Do you really believe? Because number one, I don't think it's a mistake she black.
Right.
That old man is mad at some of these white folks. I know how to get them. Not only am I gonna start messing around openly with a nigga gal, I'm gonna marry her and give her my money. That is the ultimate fucking.
Bro.
Yes,
bro.
That's what he calls it too, nigga gal.
It's
I'm telling you, in the face of that, if he's calling her a nigger gal, you talking about the people who he raised. He raised some people under nigger gal thinking.
Nigger gal.
And if you think they gonna let that nigger gal go somewhere with that money,
hey, Uncle Jim, you want me to treat her like the white folks? That boy said, no.
Right.
Jeff, you might be on to something. Because think about it. Look at Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick dressing different. Bill Belichick used to walk around with hoodies with sleeves cut off. Now this dude got him a young girl. He got on a crushed velvet brocade.
Oh, he dressing his old ass up now.
Smoking jacket.
That was Snoop Dogg.
Big Kool-Aid smile on his face.
Right. You happening now, right?
I'm telling you, he up in the nine.
Hugh Hefner was true to the game. Hugh Hefner was like, nope, you got to be under 25 and white. He kept it 100.
But they're at a point right now, though. It's like this 93-year-old man. He at a point right now where his nutsack longer than his dick. And he's not gonna be doing nothing.
He did the George Bush show. He said, what you gonna do? Nothing.
I disagree.
You gonna kill me? I'm already dead.
He get a blue chew. He gonna be through.
That's what I said. That's what he's getting. He's sawing his raw dose. He's having fun, man. That's what it is.
Yeah. He said, I feel like I'm young. I feel like I'm 83.
Hey, he mess around and take one of them blue chews. He might come back like Mum Ra.
That's hilarious.
Like
a cocoon.
Like lion though. I have
Hey, but you know
be on that.
You got the power of Grayskull.
Who I wish we had here. I know who I wish we had here to see these videos.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, he would have a field day with this shit.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Omar would have a field day.
Man.
All right, man. So,
brother Hank, man.
I'm gonna get into the depth of the show tonight. We've had some fun. God is red pill. He ain't no better than these niggas. All right. Now I'm gonna play this video because this is the video that's for the show tonight. And I just want to see what you guys think about this lady. Says she wants to lead as many black women as she can away from God because the Bible and the Word of God oppresses women. All right, here we go.
On religion. Societal norms and stigmas are very, very harsh on women. And there really has been an unfair burden placed on many of us that it's basically we damned if we do and we damned if we don't. You know, in many religious circles, the women are just supposed to be docile, again, serving and, you know, tending to the children, pleasing the husbands, and but without, and then also I look at, you know, the period of enslavement in this country and how black women in particular, and not, I wouldn't, you know, all of us have definitely suffered and are still dealing with trauma from that period in history. But the women in particular, there is such a burden, especially on black women, that we are supposed to be the caregivers to everyone but ourselves. And then also because women are always supposed to be deemed the emotional ones, that many of us, and I just say us because, you know, that is the demographic I represent. Many of us have been deemed as just these emotional beings. And there are a lot of things about, I guess, religion and the church itself, as an institution, that women have been the backbone of the churches and have been supportive. And I think that many of us are just tired, you know, but so, you know, and it is true that there is a rise in nuns, right? Religious nuns, even if they don't explicitly identify as atheists per se. It has been a drop in church attendance in recent years. And there have also been folks just leaving because I think they're tired of the hypocrisy in many churches, the many interpretations of the text, the many interpretations of, and also the discrepancy and the outright hypocrisy in what is being said and in what is being done. So that is definitely causing a ripple effect. And especially as we have access to more information, and there has been a push for empowerment for women. And we can look to the suffrage movement back in the 1920s, which did not include Black women. But in recent years, there has definitely been more of a push, but we still deal with those societal stigmas and about what is supposed to be respectable for women. You know, we are supposed to be, if you are in any way expressive, you know, we deal with the whole angry black woman thing. I mean, we see these outlets online which talk so much crap, and I'm not sure if we could curse on here yet, but they talk so much crap about especially black women. You know, we're either too angry or we're not doing enough, or, you know, there's just so many barriers that we deal with still, and some of it can be considered passive aggressive, right? Because we don't have laws now that specifically, even though this current administration is trying to take those back, there are laws, you know, the laws that actually segregate or subjugate us they're not in play anymore. But people don't realize that having these things mentally ingrained in us has taken a huge toll, and we don't even realize that we're doing it to each other. So I'm sorry.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I would love to ask a question, Mandisa, because I'm so curious, and I'm an empath, so you're going to get a lot of questions from me. I lead with curiosity.
Sure.
It based on what I've heard from you, it sounds like faith has become, on top of everything else that has been painful experientially for in particularly black women, it sounds like faith has become a burden that they can also no longer bear.
I would say that the slogan of our organization is walking by sight, not faith. And there are a lot of black women, and there are many black women still. The majority of believers in our community are women. We're definitely not, that's definitely the case. And
Jesus,
you know what, gentlemen, we have entered the find out phase of our program. Let me ask y'all a question. Why is it that when our women get to a certain age, they cut off all they have and they die what's left blonde?
And they put a ball in their tongue.
I don't understand that. I don't understand it. To me, it seems like she wants to go through life with no problems and have nothing bad happen to her ever at all. There's no consequences to nothing that you want to do. You see what I'm saying? And that's not exactly how life works. You know what I'm saying? To me, I don't understand. It's like you want everybody to empower you, but I thought you was already strong. Why not empower yourself? Where's that rocket fuel?
To add more context, she said women who dress provocatively are not whores, and women should be free to do that. Right? She said,
what? Let me tell you something.
She's for everything woman. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Listen, the gates of hell are now open.
Holy Jesus.
You can walk right on in. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I just got one thing, Miss Lit, if I can. She sounds exactly like the majority of women already. They want to walk without consequence. She's trying to put some bullshit to it, but a lot of women act like that right now. They might go to church, but they believe like she believes because they ain't listening to any of the doctrine in the church. Right? So the fact is, when she says, I want to walk by sight and not by faith, there's a whole bunch of them doing that shit. They might not go to her they might not be a part of her group, but that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, just like you have to go far and wide to find a woman who wants anything that resembles the natural order of things. I mean, you gotta really see the last one. You know, so I'll just drop it right there. So
hey, you know when that lady got that car bought for her, she was walking by sight. She didn't care about no faith. Come on, Jeff.
Empath guy. Empath guy. I'm an empath. Yeah. Oh my God.
Nigga, unless empath is a new name for sweet pickle, bullshit. Number one, the first thing that this sister showed is her profound ignorance of African religion. In African religion, if you want to go somewhere to explain Ifa, if religion downplays the woman. That just says you don't know shit about where you come from. That says that, as does your hairstyle, as does your rhetoric. And these women are women, and women like her are, if they don't do this, then there is a lot of prophecy that has to be wrong. These people, I submit to you that these people that walk in these crooked mindsets, the French fry grease been hot for years. Trump just dropped you niggas in it. And that French fry grease is going to burn up everything that don't make sense. You not going to, all this shit we talking about is great conversation for 3 decades ago. And I don't know if they're going to be calling this America in a year. I really don't. The way we going, we are on our way to The Handmaid's Tale. And I want you to, how many of y'all have seen The Handmaid's Tale?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any of these trifling heifers there? They had a place for them. They hung them from the street and they put them out into the poisonous fields to die. Bruh, it's some shit like that on the way. Because you're not going to be able, no man, not only, no man will be successful. No man will be successful with a woman like you. He's not going to be successful. If he's not smart enough to push your ass out into the open prairie, then he going to die too. And that is how this is, we have heard this cycle. Hard men make good times. Good times make soft men. Soft men make hard time.
You don't think she's a lesbian?
And rinse and return. She is definitely one.
It doesn't matter because with regard to her being a lesbian, I don't care how you dress. It still takes 4 of you to move a couch.
Yeah. That's true.
So she can be whatever she wants to be. It doesn't matter.
It's all delusional.
She is not under the covering of a man who is with other men. Bruh, in order for me to be wrong, the Apocrypha got to be wrong. Nostradamus got to be wrong. Revelations got to be wrong. I'm just looking at it. Everybody either look past it, look around it. Okay, if I'm wrong, the fucking news is wrong. It's here. Mm-hmm. These broads we complaining about ain't got long. And someday and someday soon, some sleeper cell at 2:30 on a Tuesday is gonna go. And at that moment, feminism in this country will die. Will die. The next thing that happens is gonna kill all this. Watch. Because you ain't gonna be able to live with that shit. Here come the marauders. What friends you got? The police ain't your friend. Mexicans ain't your friends, not the ones that you ain't friends with. Who is your friend? The white, the Aryan Brotherhood? Sister, your only hope is on this fucking panel right now. You can run from it all you want to. You gonna deal with us or you in the French fry grease, period. And I hope you don't like it.
Yeah.
Mr. Bennett, you want to cook?
I mean, there were so many points that were raised. I can only just recall a couple, and I don't want to hear it again. No, but I think, look, I said I was on the show with Ballsman. Look, I mean, certainly if you want to deal with Christianity specifically, I mean, I think there's a lot of room for critique and criticism over its application over millennia. And certainly there's some serious questions to be raised. But it seems what I'm hearing here is a woman that is essentially with a defeatist attitude, who's just simply just leaving anything on any that has to do with any kind of structure, any kind of purpose, any kind of community, what she's trying to build or the exodus that she is building. I don't see, like, what future is that? And to the point of just even how she looks. I mean, it's not engagement. It's just fleeing. And where are you leading these women to? You're going to be Moses. That's going to lead the people from what? So I go, where's that ultimately going to get you? So again, and if you don't want Christianity, fine. As Uncle Jeff said, there's African religions. There's all kinds of things that are more egalitarian. People make an argument that even Christianity in some aspects is egalitarian. Maybe you got exposed to the wrong brand.
Whoops.
So again, I'm just hearing somebody who is just upset, just wants to see the nation burn. It's like that line out of Batman, the Joker. Some people just want to see the world burn, and that's where that's at. But that's not productive. What are you building? Your organization is just gonna, it's a road. It's a road to nowhere. But again, black men and women, we need to talk. We need to have a conversation. How can we be together? Because that's the only way I could see us surviving in any capacity. I want the warring to stop. But it just seems like with her, it's just like, forget it, just burn the whole thing down, and but it's a road to nowhere. So all the stuff that she was saying just sounds like just absolute just defeat, and I just don't, it's sad. If I had to one word, it's just sad.
It's just a culmination of of the breakdown of Christian religion in America. That's all this is. She's speaking,
but it's global. It's global. If you look at most developed nations, the trade-off is religion.
Yeah,
that's in any developed nation.
But I'm speaking this from what's been happening over the last 6-8 months.
Yeah,
with the churches and the messages that they've been giving women. They replaced the manhood with the womanhood inside the church. Most men moved away from the church, and it's leading the women backwards. That's why they believe that they can go out. Think about it. We're men, military men, men that work hard, engineers. If we were isolated on Gilligan's Island, we would down there have Wi-Fi and TV and luxury hotels that we could build.
That's fine.
They can't do that. They have to rely on us still, and to say that we can just form a group that's going to go out into this mess. Like I said, man, who's going to protect them? Who's going to protect them? And to do that, what women are following these type of women? What are they building? Even in the message for the young people that go with them, are you going to teach them to continue to be separate? Or are you going to have to figure out a man or a group, a community that can protect you? So most of the Christian pastors, I saw a study that 70% of them don't even believe what they're telling these people. So this is just the day of the feminist destroying itself. It's over soon, so people better figure it out.
Well, I don't blame necessarily all this on feminism, honestly. I think men have a reckoning ourselves that we got to deal with, because again, for all those men who left, what did you build? If you didn't like what was being taught in your church or whatever, did you go off and did you build some sort of religious community that guys? You didn't go to the nation en masse. Geno Jennings, who everybody loves in this space, you didn't go run into his holiness churches. You didn't go run in there. You just left.
Yeah, but
so it's like so again, I understand. Again, my thing is about what are you producing? It's just like this woman here. She's leaving something, but she's not creating anything. When the men left church, what did you create? So I'm saying, as long as we just going to just be mad and leave, and there's no structure, there's nothing to build with. If you know what's right, what are you going to do? And I don't see a lot of guys talking about that. What is the positive? It's just I'm angry. Oh, they're not doing what they're not saying the right thing. Boom, I'm gone. But then what? The NFL became your church.
But
See, that's the only time men gather in mass on Sundays is the NFL.
But Brother Bennett, you speak into a life that you lived yourself, in a sense. We lived it in ourselves, because I say it all the time. When brothers have this word is in wisdom, what are we willing to build? Because the building is, we're in the mature age of the building process, right? Talking to everybody 45 and over, everybody already got the answer. So the building to me starts with those young men and young women.
Absolutely.
To make sure that they can now since we are mature, I always ask, how many men are willing to do that? Because by default, brothers have to figure it out. Most brothers don't default to just chaos their whole life. At some point, they figure it out on their own. They may not have what you know what I'm saying, we can accumulate as a retired people, somebody that's been working 20 years. But for the most part, they may have their own little space that they're trying to build in. And most of them are looking for a woman early to build with. And if women are speaking to other women, say, go out, do your thing, blah, 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 the men are left to sort of make a sacrifice for their own. You know, and that to me, where the building starts, it starts with, like you say, where the conversations, once you huddle up outside this huddle, the building starts with the younger men.
Now,
So
I'm gonna say this real quick, JT. I'm gonna let you cook. I hear what you're saying, Coach Berg, and you, Mr. Bennett. Very good points. I'm gonna say this from being in the middle age of you guys, right there in the smack dab in the middle, right? And being in church my whole life, I remember when church used to be fun. I remember the church used to be full of guys. I remember all the deacons used to barbecue for the kids. I remember the deacons used to have the church picnics, and it used to be men everywhere filling up the coolers with ice and sodas and water. And, you know, on Sunday morning it was men everywhere. I think that where the church took a turn is that when we allow Pandora's box to sit at the altar. And what I mean by that is we just start allowing everything to just come into church. Now we have praise and worship leaders who wearing women clothes, singing to the masses. We have men who every sentence come out their mouth is an S, you know, thank you, Jesus, and all that, and bending their hand and twitching around the stage with leopard skin pants on. I mean, if y'all don't believe me, just go watch some of these live services. It'll blow your mind. You know, then on top of that, you have a lot of women preaching Dalmatian. You got women preaching against men to men. Men, get this together. Get your life together. This is what you do. And I'm like, what? So what happened is there was a huge following. Mr. Bennett just said it. He said, we left the church for the NFL. Some church services now start at 8 o'clock in the morning. You're out before the first game come on. But a lot of men are still not going. They're not going because they understand what's being accepted in the church. They know that the effeminate men is winning because they're good for business. They know female preachers are going to be good for the church because they're good for business. There would be no TD Jakes right now if it wasn't for his daughter. His daughter is selling out Yankee Stadium, the Staples Center. She's selling out arenas like she's a superstar. You would think it was Prince because she's selling out every arena, every big thing you could think of. She sold it out. And so I think that, you know, now it's become let's satisfy the needs of the people who are the most here, and we're going to make sure the women are taken care of. Mr. B, you got to push back on that?
Now, you diagnosed the problem, or at least some of the problems.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with your facts.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, again, but where did the men go? And if there was such a resolve, what did you build? Or where did you go? Like I said, you could have had, there's structures out there. Like I said, the Jeffs always talk about the nation. You could have went there. You could go to, like I said, the guy we just talked about, the Pentecostal guy. You can go to there's other places you could have gone, or there's other things you could have built, or you could have simply just stuck it out and been an impact player still in your place. If your place had kids, had young boys that you can influence, you could be like, you know what? I'll teach you Bible study. I'll put a men's group. I'll put a youth group together. You could have still done. There's options, but just to leave and just not build anything outside of that. And we're talking millions here, so we're not talking. We're talking millions.
Making an assumption that they ain't building anything. You're making.
I want to hear. I want to hear.
Okay.
I love to hear.
I'm not building anything. So you know, when people that fell out from school, they started homeschooling their children. Some people made their homes their church. There don't need to be these buildings. Listen, the church not only turned into all the stuff BMU talked about, they have political leanings, which violates the daggone 5C1, whatever the hell.
Every single one of them does. You're right. You're right. I think, and I personally believe they should remove for any church. They should remove 501c3 unless you can demonstrate that the money that you're using is going towards charitable causes, the majority of which is going towards charitable causes, and you can demonstrate that through your records. Okay. I think all of them. I think right, left, whatever. They're all doing that. I think they should just remove it altogether because it goes against what it was originally.
I got a couple questions for the entire panel. Number one, do we believe that the church, from its inception in this country, has been an instrument of control of the masses? Can we all? If we can't, then I don't even have to ask question number 2.
I believe that.
Okay, so we all land there?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we really want to have that conversation about why the church does what it does? It's a very ugly conversation.
Yeah. We don't have to have the conversation.
That's what I'm saying. If we don't, I ain't trying to make nobody mad. But everything I can say is Googleable and lines up.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
So are we not having what's the word with number 2?
That's going to be a whole show of its own.
Okay. Well, let me know when you want to have that conversation, because that conversation explains the exact logic on why the black man fled the church.
Yeah.
There's too much information.
Mm-hmm.
The men are creatures of logic. You have to make this shit make sense to me. This is why I only have respect for 3 groups of black men who are still in church: the preacher, the deacons, and the band, because them the only ones making any money. If you come and sit your ass up under that shit every Sunday with everything that's available, with the world's library right here, every one of us got the world's library right here, and you going and sitting up under that, okay. All right, yeah, you're going to have to explain some shit to me. That's why. And I'm not talking about a love of a higher power. I'm not talking about not bringing yourself under subjection to that power. I'm talking about what religion has done in this country. The religion that was given to you, parenthetically, if your slave master was a Buddhist, your ass would have been a Buddhist. The religion that was given to you, you don't want to have, you're going to go every Sunday. Now, my granddaddy got a pass. My great granddaddy, Big Mama and them got a pass. You, nigga, comma, don't, ... I'll leave it right there.
So then, the people that are in the church, going back to what Mr. Bennett was saying, there has to be, I was watching something the other day, and I heard this pastor of the 2819 church, which is amazing in Atlanta. He's done a fantastic job. He said something that was just profound. He said that we should be agitators. Men should be agitators of that thing that is true. And if we're going to be Christian men, then we should move in what the word says versus of what flesh is telling us. And for an example, Mr. Ben, if you and I are sitting in church and the pastor gets up and says, "Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I just want y'all to know that in the Garden of Eden, Adam was really Eve's mother." We have to say something.
Somebody actually said that?
TD Jake said this 2 Sundays ago to a packed house. TD Jake's TD Jake's attendance levels had died drastically until he had that stroke on stage. After he came back from that stroke, his church, you have to wait outside. You have to watch it in overflow.
Nigga, what stroke?
To the roof, right? He sat there in front of, I think that church holds about 20,000. That's a huge church. 25,000 probably. And he told them people that Adam was basically Eve's mother. And I'm watching this because, you know, people send me shit. They're like, man, what you think? I'm watching. I'm saying, what person in the church gonna say something?
Okay, are you sure you're not taking that out of context?
No, sir. I'm gonna find it for you right now, boy. Go my damn phone. I'm gonna find it right now, and I'm gonna put it on the screen. He said Adam was Eve's mother. So Adam is basically a damn morphinite. Mr. Ben, did you hear this?
No.
He preached the whole sermon to my Adam was fucking Eve's mother. Well, when are the men going to stand? And I agree with that, Pastor. When are the men going to stand up and say, no, TD Jakes, that is not true. That is not biblical. That is not Bible. Or are you scared that security going to grab you around your throat like they did at Jamal Bryant's church? See, Mr. Ben, that's what we're dealing with right now, too.
I got it right here. If you want to, do you?
Oh,
want
you got to pull it up. Oh, come on.
I got to pull it up.
Share it. I can't wait to play it.
Wow, to say it.
I'm telling you, it's time for men to. If we're gonna be in the church, we need to start checking this shit, man. We need to start checking them. I ain't lying. I mean, we can't have like this. I told you one time when my family went to church, I was out somewhere. I went somewhere with my bike club or something. And my old lady called me. She said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah, what's going on?" She said, "Did David rape Bathsheba?" I said, "No, what?" She said, "The pastor said in this sermon today that David got Bathsheba in there and raped her." I said, "Oh, hell no." I gotta go.
Look at what Catellia said. Oh, yeah, it's true.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah, go ahead. Hit play, yeah.
Cannot believe TD Jakes just said this.
Voice of the Lord walked through the cool of the garden, and God said, Adam, where art thou? He didn't ask where Eve was, because Adam was Eve's mama.
But let's talk about it here on All Things Theology. Cue my theme music. Come on, All Things.
Mr. Bennett, wait. Talk to me, Mr. Bennett.
Hold on, did it?
There got to be some more.
Yeah, we need to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
You want to hear some more?
That's not fair. That's what I'm saying.
Look at his face when he said it.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta jump in too.
I get the overall point.
Look at his eyes.
Where
Man.
we have to. So much of this shit. This dude is a pimp, bro. Why you think he put it like that?
Yeah, power bomb.
So he knew you would clip it, and he knew that it would. This dude is trying to regenerate seats.
Yeah,
that's what this is about.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, dude. I bet you, this is out of context. I bet you it is. If you listen to the rest of it, he cleans it up. But so you'll clip it, and he can get viral. He can get his people back. See pimps. That's
yeah,
I have 2 PhDs, and I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I got a PhD in nigga shit and pimp shit. And that's pimp shit 101. All right, y'all.
All right, we love y'all. Good job, man. See you
love
Friday,
you back, brother.
My man. All right, Joe. You y'all want to hear more?
Ekane, what's up, man?
What's going on, Ekane?
Good. How you guys?
All right, man. What's going on?
That camera again. He got from McDonald's Happy Meal.
Oh boy, it's a nice life for you, brother. Nice life, man.
What part of town you in, man? I know you're my nigga. What part of town you in tonight?
I'm actually driving through downtown Dallas right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta meet up with somebody, and then we're gonna
what?
I'm gonna meet up someone to collect something, and then I'll be heading home in maybe in few minutes.
Okay.
But I'm driving through. I'm driving through downtown.
No, I was looking for my 2 kilos of dope, and now I know where they
That's
are.
right. You got to understand.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Who the hell you think in the undershirt? Huh?
Yeah.
There's an undershirt on. Who you meeting?
No. No, I'm meeting some couple of guys.
Whoa! Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, some couple of guys. No, we're gonna. I'm just gonna pick up something from them. Then I'll be heading home after that.
Oh!
We already know what that's about to be.
Okay.
Scarface.
Stop digging. Stop digging. Stop digging.
That's okay. Let it go cry.
But that's right. You've been watching the show, man. We're about to end it, but I wanted to get you since you came. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far, my brother?
Nah, I think I just got in and saw you guys online. What I had was about using the church to control. About using the church to control people. That's true because if you look at the first calendar according to the Roman calendar, the mother to Caesar actually told Caesar to use the church, which means he should abandon the Roman way of worshiping God, because the Romans use they do just like Africa, they have their gods, right? So what the mother of Caesar told Caesar was, if you can take the Roman religion and convert it into these Christians, you can actually rule the world, not with sword anymore, but with words. So convert the rest of the world, make them to become Romans, not by sword, but by the word. So that is why the Romans then abolished their traditional way of worshiping God, and then they created the Roman Catholic. So Caesar then took the Roman Catholic and invaded the rest of Europe. So instead of killing people, because the barbarians, which is the Germans, the barbarians are called the Germanians, right? They were turned to the Romans, and Rome was fallen. They didn't have the power anymore. They didn't have the man. That's the men to go to war. So the men were revolting because the men were losing their wives. So when the Romans have to go to war, right? They might go to war for 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years. And then by the time they come back home, their wife is, they have a child that is 2 years old. But he's been gone for 5 years. How come does he have a 2-year-old child? So they were losing their children, they're losing their family. So they didn't want to fight wars anymore. So in order to dominate, because the Romans never wanted to give up dominating. So to dominate, they created the Catholic Church using the church because it was an instrument of control. And up to today, the West has adapted it. That's one of the most instrument. In fact, let me tell you this: when the West came to Africa to trade in Africa, because they didn't come to Africa for slavery, they first came with trade. So when trade was going on, they found out that Africans were working hard. Then what they did was to try to tell Africans that they wanted servants. They didn't tell Africa that they were doing slavery. They wanted servants because Africa has servants. Servants means that after 7 to 10 years you have to let them go. So the Africans thought that was what the West was going to do with the people they were getting. They didn't know it was slavery. But when Africa found out about the slavery, they started fighting the West to abolish it. But in order for the West to deal with Africa and get things cheaper than they used to get, they brought in Christianity. So actually, Christianity was the reason why Africans fell to the West easily, not by sword, because the West never really fought African countries with sword at all until the invention of the gunpowder. That was how they were able to go to war, because a single African man can destroy 3, 4 Western men easily. Yeah, but to be able to beat Africa, they use the church to get the women and the weak men in Africa. You see how you guys call simp, right? Simp men were instrumental in the spread of the gospel because they didn't want to work. They didn't want to compete. That's why Africa hates lazy men because they were a big instrument for slavery. For the spread of the church in Africa.
Yeah, but what you're saying, that's already been sort of laid out in America, about the way it all, has developed at this time. That's been known for a long time as far as how they actually infiltrated the continent of Africa and displayed those falses like they do in America today, right? And even you admit, even in Africa today, there are simp guys. They have another name, but they simping, right?
Yeah, we call in Africa we call them weak men because you got go and read this book called Things. If you can go to YouTube, Things Fall Apart. You see that the white men, the biggest people that they use, number one, they use the women.
Yeah.
And then the weak men.
But that's part of the Christian philosophy. That's why a lot of women sort of gravitate, because the message is for them to be empowered. And, it replaced the man, because you see, even pastors would say what man should be doing. And this, even with the messages that the women get to be empowered, those women have sons too. And the sons are not growing up to be better than the men before them, their fathers. The sons are becoming more and more docile, more and more passive, more and more less committed, so somebody has to get the right message out there. And we're in America, regardless of, we're in America. But again, who's willing to build? Who's willing to build at this point? Because right now, everybody's just building for themselves. But who's willing to the nation to build?
Yeah, that's why if you look at it, right, whenever we do this podcast thing and we talk about things about stuff about Americans and the rest of the world, I said to men that are masculinity in general, I look at it and then I said to men that are masculine that you're never going to win this war, because you got to understand that for the past 600 years, there is a war against masculinity from the weakest link in the world. Let me put it this way. The Western world has known to be two things: aristocrats and lazy. You see what I'm saying? So what they did was to create a system whereby the smart ones, as they say, will win, and the hardworking men, right, that are supposed to be the rich ones now will serve the weak ones. A system where majority will serve the minority. It used to be that the way God created the universe is that the strong men are supposed to be the ones ruling the system, right? But then the West came and made it opposite. What they did was the strong man will fight for the weak man. So the weak man will then accumulate wealth, but a small number of them. And all these masculine men that are huge in population will now have to cater for the rich man. The same thing happens in the West, whereby you have the instead of men to be strong, going to farm to make money, work hard and be rich, work hard and do this. No, it's be lazy, work in the garage, be smart, and be the next Google.
So do you think, man, because I believe, I may not see it, or hopefully I can see a glimpse of it. Do you think, man, despite the war that you say, man, you think individual men can win battles and those battles become, a collective? Because I believe most young men, we already understand the condition. I believe most men want a way out. They want a way out. The condition is there. You in America, we didn't expect the stuff that we in our lifetime have experienced has been pillow cases compared to what those before us here has endured. It's way beyond. As far as right now, men, I believe men, especially young men, can win those individual battles. Excuse me. And if it turns out to where men have to sort of, not by choice, but go into their own little tribe per se, I think brothers will come out on top, because the world is going to see brothers and know that the story they got about us in America is all wrong. It's all wrong.
Let me put it this way. Yes, can men win the battle individually? Yes, they can win it individually. That's 100% correct. They can. But would they sustain and be influential and also be wealthy?
Yeah.
It's going to be individual. When it comes to individuality, you can only do so much, but you can always win. But can you accumulate? You need other men to go far. A tree doesn't make a forest.
But Econet, black men have always been hanging on. We've always been just doing it right.
Because we always have community. Black men always, the concept of community is a black man thing.
But even without the community, we still, by large numbers, we still been able to just, even if it's at 0, 1, or 2, we're not in a deficit. Even if we look, 500 in a football season is a winning season. So most brothers, by 50% or more, are doing better than worse. Most brothers are figuring it out.
50%.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, there you go. I mean, the majority of, one of the things that I know where you're going though, because we don't see it, right? Because the media and everything else always focuses on the negative. For the most part, most men are, just doing their thing. I mean, from lower middle class up to whatever the class is, the poverty line is at 20%, for the black community, including men. So that means other men are, kind of down there, but up, right? Most black men are not criminals. Most black men are not baby daddy. So, but that doesn't solve the situation that we're in. It just means that we have a possibility of doing something. We're still in the game.
Still in the game.
The game is not over. And the thing is, how do we get to the other side where we start building that critical mass towards a new community? And I say new community, I didn't say black community, but a new community of people who are actually achieving things that we could build on and identify with. I think the concept of black community, the way we used to have it, I think that's dead. We ain't never getting that back. I don't think we're ever getting that back. I hear what people are saying, but whatever's in the future, it's got to be better than that. Because
I think that there's a problem. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was too easy to destroy what we considered the black community before. For the last 50 years, since the 64 till now, it's in complete disarray, right? So whatever we build can't be what we had before. Go ahead, you can.
Let me put it this way, right? The problem with the black community is that we always want to carry everybody along. The white community doesn't do that. Most communities don't do that. Most communities will have what they call class. But you have to understand that right from Africa, because I got to tell you, whenever I see African Americans, I see the African in them. And the reason why I say I see the African in them is because it's the same thing. In Africa, everybody is always carried along. But in the West, in India, except China, that has that African mentality because they came out of there, and Japan as well, that have African mentality because they came out of there. The rest of the world does do what we call hierarchy or class. So they divide group of people based on class, you see? And that small group always take the share of the world. But in Africa, and these two other countries that I mentioned, which is mostly Southeast Asia, they do what you call carry along. That is why you see China brought 600 million people out of poverty in less than 20 years. In Africa, when we do things, we always think about, okay, when I'm going to start this business, I'm going to make sure my brother is hooked up, my cousins are this, everybody, my friends, everybody is working, everybody is good. And when we want to go with we just want to make sure the whole community is good. But the problem now in America is this. When African Americans came here, but I would say mostly in the last 65 years to 70 years, there has been something so bad that has divided the community so much that the community now has morphosed or maybe disintegrated into classes. Classes in the sense that you have the rich black folks, you have the middle class, you have the ghetto ones, you have the country ones, you have the hood. You see what I'm saying? Now you have the ones that just want to be by themselves. Now you have the gay community, you have the LGBTQ, you have the this and that. So black community, just like the whole system in America is, black community has become America community. But if black people want to succeed, you got to tune out the community now and form a community in the black community. You form the community that you want or you want to be able to be associated with. You cannot go back to that community of before 70 years ago. That community is gone because I got to tell you, there are class of women in the hood or ghetto community that I come across. Man, I tell you, I do not want those women anywhere around me. Them and them kids too.
Well, it's not just the women; it's the class of men back there too. Listen
that's why I said them and them kids.
Well, no, there's a class of grown men back there too. But that's the point. We have a class issue now, but whatever's built in the future, whatever we consider African Americans, I mean, because believe it or not, there's a divide between American blacks and African blacks. We can't deny it. It's there too. So we got divisions everywhere, but I don't think that's as important as the fact that if we're going to survive in America, I believe that we need to leave all the black shit alone. We know we're black. We need to just be Americans. We need to understand how to capture the American dream, and then we can go ahead and divide it amongst ourselves the way we see fit, whether it's all black or whatever, because everything we do it seems like it's even a goddamn stupid ass halftime show. What we're talking about, how it relates to us being black, instead of just being a bad goddamn halftime show. You know, I mean, we see all of these symbols. Some might be real, some might not be just happenstance. Yeah, I can't take it. Some people are trying to make it into some kind of great halftime show. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, God damn, I'm not really entertained. You know, the biggest applause he had is when they said A minor.
That's the worst halftime show in history that I've ever watched. The worst halftime show I've ever watched.
You know, I forgot. I be wanting to ask you old niggas.
Yeah, I
be wanting to ask you old niggas, like,
we gotta be old niggas.
At what point did you guys?
It's not them. It's just me. Yeah.
Well, your ass in. Because if you look at history, everything that black people did in history had something behind it. Even the way they braided their hair. I took my kids to Memphis, Tennessee, and they showed the hair braiding of how black women braided hair. And when they braided the hair, the slave master thought it was just something that they did on their own, but it was actually the route out of the plantation. And they would braid the route of the escape in their fucking hair.
Oh, okay. So, all right.
Or in their blankets. You know how they used to knit their blankets? They used to knit the blankets, and you could see they had a long display. You
need to knit escape routes in the hair now, dude.
No. But what I'm saying, so you're saying today that there's no systematic anything against a one race?
Most people listen. Most black people are just fucking Americans, man. I mean, look at the culture we have. the ratchet ass music on both women and men. What's culturally significant about that other than it's being ratchet and demonic? You know, like I said, my daughters have natural hair. They have my oldest has locks, and it's just growing like crazy. She takes care of it. You know, so I'm just happy that she is comfortable with her natural look. I don't attribute that shit to anything other than she's comfortable with being a black woman without the bullshit eyelashes, fingernails, and fake hair. And so I appreciate the fact that she's comfortable enough in her own skin. That's enough for me.
Now,
you know, I'm just saying we're seeing symbols where imaginary symbols, where everything has some kind of cultural black significance, which is not going to take us anywhere.
Okay, so my thing is this: ain't nothing taking us anywhere. When you go watch the NFL game on Sunday, last Sunday, when you watched the Super Bowl, the actual game, it didn't take you anywhere. When you watch your favorite basketball team,
that's right.
LeBron James went down the court.
It's supposed to be entertainment.
Right, it didn't take you anywhere.
It's just entertainment.
It didn't take you anywhere.
It's entertainment, but somebody's making money off of it.
And
a whole lot of people are making money off of it.
Yeah, so what? We live in a capitalistic society.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is this, hold on. So you take a group, hold on. So let's take slavery out of it. Let's take all the boats stuff out of it. And let's
do not want to be a slave.
Let's speed it up again. Let's speed it up a little bit. So you take a group of people, and this is fact. This is not something I made up. This is factual. You can look it up right now. You take a group of people and you put them on one side of the town. And once you put them on one side of the town, you put them all in one area. And once you put them all in one area, hold on, let me fix my headphones here because I can't hear y'all. I won't be able to hear your big mouth when you respond. Okay. So you put them all on one side of town, and then you call that redlining. So you put all the niggas in the south part. That's why when you go anywhere in the United States of America, if you say you go to South Dallas, South Detroit, wherever you want to go, that's where the niggas at. So you put them at the bottom. This is significant. They put them in there.
Do you live in the red line? Do you live in the red line? Do you live in the red line zone?
Hey, no. What I'm saying to you is Jack Johnson didn't live in the red lining.
I'm asking you, do you live in the red line zone?
But that's the problem. We're selfish ass niggas. Why I gotta work
No. You did what you had to do to make sure they didn't redline.
Everybody not gonna have the same.
You can't save everybody.
Everybody not gonna have the same.
Everybody ain't gonna be saved.
Everybody's not gonna be saved. This is something that pisses me off because I'm working with these kids every day. I'm working with them. I see what they come from. They're not going to be given the same opportunities as you and I. They're not.
You say who you can. I mean, listen, okay, where's this chicken or the egg, right?
So let me lay my plane.
If you sat down and if I told my origin story, you tell your origin story, everybody tell their origin story. I can make mine as hard. Listen, when I was in Harlem, it was a horror show.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is so do you believe, I want you to answer my question. Do you believe that redlining is real? Yes or no?
So redlining is an issue. It wasn't an issue. It was more of an issue in the past.
But is it an issue now?
As much as it can be, yes. Okay, but let me
you have apartment complexes. I'm gonna give you one in Louisiana because that's where I'm from. We have apartment complexes in Louisiana called Parkview Apartments. If you want to Google them, Google them. Those apartment complexes have been there since the late 60s, early 70s.
Okay.
The motherfuckers are still there. And this motherfuckers right now, 19 years old, 20 years old, stand in the motherfucking apartments. And it's the highest crime rate, highest drug rates, highest rate, everything that you can imagine.
Does anybody get out of there?
No. What I'm saying is, when you in those areas, they were redlined. And guess how far it is from the city? Guess how far it is from the main city, Monroe. It's way the fuck out.
Okay, but let me ask you a question, BMU. What is supposed to happen to stop that? Fairness, right? Fairness. Are you talking about fairness, equity? How do you change that? And does anybody ever escape the projects?
Some people,
because I know so everybody's not going to get out of there.
No.
I lived in the projects before.
Right.
My family was in the projects. How do you escape the projects?
Hold on. Well, redlining is real. So you redline people, you put them in an area, and then you pour resources. Now,
so nobody escapes the project.
Probably 1%.
All right. So, but whose fault is that it's only 1%? What are you supposed to do for those people that get on there and get comfortable with being on Section 8? What's going to happen when they take Section 8 away?
You're not comfortable. Like I said again, I'm telling you about the apartment complex that I was telling you about in Louisiana. Those people are far away from any job. They don't have transportation. They don't have nothing. And so all the jobs are 20 minutes away. I'm here in Dallas. In South Dallas, all the jobs are 30 minutes away. You have no car.
Who is supposed to save them? Who? I'm asking you a question. I'm serious. How do you get people who are generationally there, even if it was nefarious, how do you get them out of there?
I don't know. How about this? Because I want to say this too as a number. I'll not switch the subject. I just want to add this in. The United States of America, has the highest homeless population on planet Earth.
Right.
And we're sending 30. I know, and we're sending $30 to $40 billion every 6 months to another country.
That's right. And we keep voting those same people in office.
Joe Biden spent $100 million on condoms for a foreign country.
And we still, and they're fighting tooth and nail to keep that money flowing.
So you ask the question, what do we do? What can you do in an apartment complex?
What we can do
55 years old with $100 million.
You stop that money from going there, and the same people are fighting like tooth and nail to keep it going.
I'm asking you, what could you do in the black community with $100 million?
I'm not going to give the black community $100 million.
I'm not talking about putting it in their hands. I'm talking about they're surrounding them.
Okay, I'll tell you what's going to happen if the $100 million went towards just the black community.
Infrastructure.
The people in charge is going to steal half of it.
No. Infrastructure.
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to gentrify it.
There we go. There it is. Thank you. It's happening in Dallas right now. South Dallas used to look like a motherfucking black folks all company over here.
So they bring it down, and then they put money in there and kick the people who were there can't afford to live there. I'm just telling you. So the point really is, how do we always get on the shit end of the gentrification?
That's why.
How are we on the shit end? It's a chicken and the egg situation. I don't understand how we're going to sit here and because we're still focusing on the people who can't get out, and we still ignore the millions of black people who are out.
No, that ain't no millions.
There's millions.
Don't do that. The poverty level for black people right now, we're at the bottom of the motherfucking barrel. Ain't no millions.
It's still millions of people out. We got 45 million black people. Most of them
it's still millions of people.
Yeah, come on now.
Mr. Penn is right. Mr. Penn is right. Still millions of people. But the thing is this: one thing.
You're not gonna sit here and tell me the majority of black folks are successful.
No, that's not what he's saying. No, that's not what he's saying.
You can't say the majority of black folks are living in poverty. The majority of us are not living in poverty.
Have you looked at the numbers?
The numbers are. You look at the numbers. If you go up Google right now, how many black people are living in poverty under the poverty line? It's like 20%. That's high.
So I can tell you about. So let me tell you about the city that I come from.
Google it.
The city I come from. Hold on. The city I come from. The median, the median income in the city of Detroit is over $50,000. So it's not. It's more people that are out of poverty than it is the people that's not in poverty, and that's in Detroit.
Hold up, JT. Repeat that. You said it's more people out of poverty than it is more people.
Yes, in the city of Detroit, where poverty is fairly high, right? There are more people in the city of Detroit that are above the poverty level. The median income of a household in Detroit is over $50,000.
That ain't nothing no more.
That's the median.
But BMU to
if I made
things.
$50,000 a year, I'll be on the street.
But BMU, no.
Yeah, but we're talking about Detroit. That's why I said in Detroit. That's why I said in Detroit, the median. That's over the poverty line. That's over the poverty
You're
line.
gonna have to readjust that though, JT.
Yeah.
Because the price of living has gone up to the point where that $50,000 is going to be poverty.
Yes. You need
no,
10,000.
No. The poverty line now is 35,000.
Right, it's 35,000. It's gone up. It's gone up
It's
in the
going up
last
to
4 years.
35,000. Yes.
Hold up. Before COVID, it was only like $16,000 to $20,000 before COVID. You need $10,000 to $15,000 more today to have the same lifestyle that you did before COVID. Now, most people are not. Most people, I used to have these conversations. I thought that most regular working people, I thought that for us after COVID, a lot of our reckless lifestyle was sort of decimated.
Okay, but Coach Ferg, I'm sorry. I just got to say this and shit before we go any further. According to recent data, around 17.8% of Black people in the United States live below the poverty line, which is significantly higher than the national average across all races.
Our pain. You looking that up, but you got to think. Motherfuckers who are living by themselves, they got daycare that's $1,000 a week. They got insurance that's $400 a week. They got fucking mortgage that's $1,600 a week. That fucking shit gonna have to be readjusted. That's bullshit.
Okay.
A motherfucker making $50,000 in Dallas right now.
I hear you. Everybody ain't living in a house where they have to pay a mortgage.
What I'm telling you is a motherfucker in Dallas, Texas right now making $50,000 is fucking miserable.
He's not living in a house with a mortgage though.
Oh, okay, since you got your phone out,
rent is higher than mortgage now.
Right now,
no, it's not.
I'm looking at it right now. The average cost right now in fucking Dallas. I'm looking at it right now. We can tell you. The fucking average cost of a two-bedroom apartment is $2,397 a month.
I pay across the country. Rent has almost tripled across the country.
So listen, you guys, I hate to say this, you guys sound just like data deniers on these panels. I didn't make up the data. I mean, just look it up. They take a national average. I'm not talking about the individual, how you live. Everybody don't live on the East and West Coast. Everybody doesn't live in Dallas. These are high cost areas you're talking about. The poorest of the people ain't gonna live there.
How many people you think
are go town somewhere? All I'm just trying to say is I'm in New Jersey, and my daughter lives in she right now she has an apartment. It costs $1,800 a month to live there. And a few things included, and it's in a nice neighborhood. We're in New Jersey.
But I'm paying.
You can't just look at your life and say, "How did
Mr. Penn, you are living pre-COVID.
On in this crazy shit. They ain't saying everybody's living in a life of luxury.
You are living in pre-COVID, Penn.
That's a number.
I'm paying. So now we know the lifestyle of living in Texas is totally different than New York, right? Because people can live in New York and pay $1,800 for almost a studio apartment.
A piece of shit.
See what I'm saying? In Texas,
hold on. Talking about luxury. We ain't talking about. We're talking about the poverty line.
No, the poverty line. I agree with you when it comes to the poverty line. Our numbers are higher, but only 17% of us are in poverty. Most people are living above poverty based off their income.
That's what Mr. Payne was saying, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? But our numbers are always going to seem to be high when it's compared to everybody else. Because you just said it.
Okay, so you made a point. And JT backed it up. Right? I see what you're saying. Right, 17.9% are under the poverty level. Just because, but if I make $50,000, I'm over poverty level, right?
Yeah.
I'm over poverty level, but I'm still in a state of poverty because
even
the
though it's
cost of
low,
living is killing me.
No, you're poor. You're poor.
The poverty line is
You're
poverty
poor.
line, you're making $30,000 more than the poverty line.
Right, and you're suffering still. You still living paycheck to paycheck.
But hold on, being a brother like you with a family, yes, it's tight. And that's why I said, but a single brother who doesn't have a lot of overhead, he can be all right though in this studio apartment.
Absolutely.
He can live, hey, I'm telling you, when I was in Chicago and the poverty line, when I was there was 16. At the time, I was probably making close to about 48, right? So, and I was living good. I was living good by myself.
But to go back to
but
to go back to what you guys were initially saying, is it a redlining or a racial thing now? Or is it a race thing? Is it not a race like
class thing?
Like our color? Is it a race for everyone in these populations that we have? Is it you got class, right? Is it a race in class, right?
Class thing.
Is it a class thing? Or is it someone being racially profiled, or they can't get opportunities because of their race? Or is it just because the opportunities are not there for them because what they were born in, what they were raised in? Is it those things? Now,
how the fuck can I learn how to ride a bike if my daddy lost his legs in Vietnam? This the bullshit I'm talking about. My shit is, if we're in these communities and you can't see a way out, that's why, who said this shit? Somebody said this shit. Viola Davis, I think. Viola Davis said, we criticize our community so bad, but 90% of our kids have never seen what a beach look like. If they can't see the shit, how can they work for something? How can they achieve something? They see the shit.
Okay, they don't listen. We can't have two things that are true at the same time, because those same kids have one of the greatest tools that ever was made in their hands, even the most poverty-stricken.
Okay.
They know where the beach is. They know what a beach looks like. They don't have the parenting and the families, but we've been without dual families for decades now. Right, but the opportunities now for people I think are greater than anybody else, anytime in history. Right, even redlining is more of a class thing, I think, than a poverty thing. Remember when the housing market collapsed before Obama got in? That was because they were giving mortgages to people who really couldn't afford them, and a lot of those people were black.
Now, okay, so
so they duped them. They really did.
Loan payments.
And with balloon payments and everything else. So all I'm just trying to say is redlining took on a different kind of thing because the shysters, the way the markets were, they took advantage of people, making them and convincing them to buy houses they couldn't afford under regular circumstances. That's why people look at a house as just a mortgage, but we all know it's the mortgage, it's the maintenance, it's everything else that goes along with it.
Right.
If it's just a one-family house and it's just for you, if you don't have a family in it, it's really a liability.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with the man named Rob Peace?
I don't know. I don't. It's not
Rob Peace was he's almost genius, black man.
Okay.
He was very smart when he was a kid. His daddy got wrongfully accused for a murder when he was a teenager. His daddy went to jail. He later got out, but his daddy went to jail for a crime that he did not commit. His son was so smart, he got accepted to Yale. He got accepted to another Ivy League college. He wanted to stay and do community college because he wanted to stay and help his daddy get out of jail. But his mama convinced him to go to Yale. He went to Yale.
Oh, they made that movie about him. Okay.
Yep. He went to Yale. I think it was Yale. Once he got there, he started doing everything. He started dealing with all these racist motherfuckers.
It was Yale. Yeah.
They want him to succeed. This motherfucker got a PhD. He started working on houses in his community, fixing his community up, remodeling houses, making houses affordable for black people. And you know what they did? They shut him down, took his money, took his loan. The bank shut him down, said he was a liability, shut that man down. That man was halfway done fixing the neighborhood he grew up in. That motherfucker was dying on the streets. They took his fucking money. Guess what he did? He was a chemist at heart. So he started making dope, pure dope, and selling it to help these people do the houses. And guess what happened? The drug dealers in the community walked in his house and blew his fucking brains out because he was still trying to build a community that the white folks took from him. I don't understand why people don't understand this shit. The man had a PhD. The man a PhD. He graduated from fucking Yale. And they took the man's money that he was rebuilding his community with, and he had to resort to cooking dope to pay for these old people so they wouldn't leave their houses. And the drug dealers killed him because they thought he was a competition, but he was only selling it to help the people in the community.
BMU, it's a horror story. I mean, okay. It's a horror. What are we supposed to say to that? There's a lot of horror stories in the community.
Like bullshit like this exists where people who have went to school
done
the right thing and they're not getting nothing.
But nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying that there's horror stories. That's what I'm saying. It seems like we want to ignore the successes though because there's horror stories. I mean, just because there's horror stories doesn't mean we can't say there's progress. I mean, that's all I'm trying to say. I can dig the horror stories. I've been around them. I've seen them. It just depends on what your focus are. Listen, moving forward doesn't mean you forget what happened to the bad things that happened to people in the past. I'm never gonna say that. I mean, but you could move forward and exalt the good shit and recognize the bad stuff, but it's all on what you emphasize. Because I'm trying to say, we can't go back and save my man. We can't save the horrors that happened to him and the travesty that he went under. I mean, all of us have people we left behind. I know there's people in my own orbit that we left behind. I can't save them. I don't know how to save those people.
But you know what?
It's not that I ignore them. I hurt for them. I'll pray for them. But how do you save people when, and I don't want to say this because then we're going to get into a whole nother thing. The people who want to be saved, that's one thing. But there's a percentage of people who are comfortable exactly where they are.
You know, something Malcolm X said I heard him say in one of his speeches. He said, "There's nothing worse in this world and more dangerous for the black community than a forgetful nigga when he gets some money." He's absolutely correct. When a nigga, when we get successful and we get out of the
but he was correct. He was correct in the 60s. The craziest part now is that the times have changed. The mindset has actually changed, black man. This is the thing that I have a problem with, and this is to be observing of what's going on now. We have people that are in America that they say they don't want to be in America, but they don't want to leave when they have the ability to leave, right? We have this so-called community, and I'm looking at it with my own eyes. You got women. What we talk about on these panels? Hard-headed ass damn women. They're not doing what they're supposed to do to be protected, right? We have people that are actually doing it. There is progress that we have, but the problem is that when we financially progress, our communities are broken at the same time, even worse than what they were there, because guess what? I can agree with the whole thing of being forgetful, but sometimes it's not being forgetful when you ain't never had it. Look at the new generation. We keep looking at the new generation. What are you still having? Unwed mothers with babies, right? They're not going to be protected. Now look at the attitudes that they have. Let me tell you something. There's a story right now is going national now that came out of Detroit. A woman had 5 children. She was homeless. She ran out of gas on the 9th floor of the park house of a casino here in Detroit. She left her kids in the car to go get help so she can get gas money because her car ran out of gas. Now, mind you, her and her 5 children, and I think it was another woman that was with her, they were living in her car. When she came back to her car, 2 of her children died.
I heard that. That's just recent.
Froze to death.
They froze
to death in the car. That's how cold it's been in the past 2 weeks in Detroit. So now you have this woman and have all these family members that's coming out. You guys, you shouldn't be so hard on her. You shouldn't be, because she was trying to get help and wasn't nobody trying to help her. Wow, she still had family. And mind you, we have a city that is majority Black. And it's more than one story in Detroit that's happening that way. All these people that's out here drowning in 2 feet of water. This is what we have right now. And it's because we are not looking at what the problem is, because every time we say, listen, this is the problem, we will put race in it. We will put everything else other than what the problem actually is. Those kids didn't have to die. If those kids had to go to and be split up and go to certain family houses, that's what they have to do, because that's what we did back in the day. This is why you had siblings that were split up. But you don't have that anymore. People are dying by themselves. And because we have too many hard-headed people. And we got too many people coddling other people's mishaps. And the mishap that they have is that they stay ignorant.
Didn't they charge her? Are they charging her?
No, they didn't even charge her. No.
I thought I heard
they let her go. They let her go. So they're taking up a collection because
she doesn't
have money for 2 funerals.
They took her kids though, didn't they?
No.
They gave those kids back to her?
Let me tell you what they're doing now. The mayor is trying to get a preventive plan. The mayor right now is trying to get a preventive plan so nobody is living on the streets in Detroit. For one, it's always been like that, where they have to have a plan that when they get to a certain degrees outside, everybody has to be inside. That's how dangerously cold it is right now. It's 19 degrees right now in Detroit. 19 degrees. The highest it was today was 27 degrees. But what I'm saying is that when we keep talking about this, get our families together. I mean, get the Black community, the Black community, the Black community. This is why I said what I said last week when I said, no, you start with the family. We keep skipping steps. And this is why the children are having the problems that they're having, because we got adults that don't want to be adults. That's basically what it is. I don't give a damn what it is. My kids ain't gonna be dying in no goddamn dying in the cold. If I had to take them and my ass go somewhere else, I'm gonna do that then. But what it is that woman didn't have a man in her life. Period. Let's keep it 100.
She had 5 men in her life.
It wasn't. We don't know. She just had 5 children. It could have been two men. It could have been 3, but they wasn't in her life. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. No, I hear you, JT. You're right. So we have to. It's tragic that those kids died, right? But they weren't. That before they died, instead of driving the car to a hospital or somewhere where there's warmth, she drove into a parking garage, and probably ran out of gas. A casino, right? So what I'm saying is, the kids were in immediate dangers that maybe she didn't recognize it, but instead of going and driving to a hospital where she could have just went into the emergency room with the kids, where they could have just been in a waiting room to get some warmth.
My man. And guess what? Hold on, Arpain. One was in pull-ups and a t-shirt.
And a t-shirt, yeah.
And the other one was in jogging pants and a t-shirt. We at the hospital. I don't give a fuck. Somebody about to get us somewhere. I'm about to make sure. I'm not going to keep my kids in the car in Detroit at doggone less than 20 degrees. It's less than freezing. It's under freezing.
But she ran out of gas.
Yeah, but what
she ran out of gas because she was sitting in the car. And this is what her family member said, black man. She was too proud to ask for help. Come on, dog.
So she had the car on for heat until it ran out of gas.
Yes, until it ran out of gas. If you've ever been in Detroit, man, it's very close knit. I don't give a damn what anybody say about the city. It's people that's gonna help your ass over here, man. We got too many. Listen, we have a group right now that's out here that's trying to clean up this crime shit. Them same people, they have their numbers out. They on YouTube, they on everything right now, and they in the city being active. They would have got that woman help.
You an adult. If anything, you're gonna make sure that your kids are safe. I don't care what anybody say. I die fucking she's still living. She in a warm place now. You don't leave your fucking kids in no goddamn frozen ass car. That's crazy. She was in the parking lot of a casino. I would have took them to the fucking with all the shit and they ain't got no clothes on or nothing. That goddamn security would have helped me. I wouldn't have left nowhere, even if they would have took us to the jail. Somebody
Black man.
People ain't that damn fucked up out here in this world, black man. People ain't that damn fucked up. Somebody would have helped that woman and them damn kids, especially because she had kids. Five children.
Black man, if I may, you know what our problem is? Our problem is we got all the horror stories and we got none of the solutions. That's all we got, man. Here's my thing. Earlier, when you were talking about redlining, that thing is a little bit more complicated than people realize. That's what's known as covert racism. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna explain to you exactly how that works. Okay. You get a house in a normal black neighborhood, let's say a rundown neighborhood. That house sells for maybe about a little or nothing, maybe $25,000, $30,000 for a rundown house. Okay. Normally it's on the edge of town, edge of the hood.
Right.
You know what they do? Because I've seen this done before. They'll take that old house, fix it up, have it reevaluated. Oh, this, $25,000 house, which they put another 75 in it to fix it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100,000, right? You know what they do? They take it to the bank evaluates it, do the comps in the neighborhood and say, hey, you know what? Your house is now worth $300,000. Okay. Now, what they do with that money is they pull that money out. They do a HELOC, home equity line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
They pull that money out. And you know what they do? They take that money somewhere else and buy up another house. Well, guess what happens if you do that about 2 or 3 more times in the same neighborhood? Guess what? The comps go up even more. And you know what happens when the comps go up?
Everybody get the fuck out.
All your taxes go up.
Yeah.
So now the people who've been living there in Big Mama's house that whole time now has a tax bill that they can't pay anymore. Okay.
Facts.
So what happens after that is that those people can't keep those houses. And guess what? Those houses are bought up at the courthouse steps for taxes, which is little or nothing. And they go back in and then fix them houses up again. So now you got a whole neighborhood worth of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 homes, right? How many people that you know that's right around the poverty line who can buy $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 house?
No,
they can't. Okay. Here's my whole thing. That's how covert racism works. See, to the outside uneducated person, they're screaming, redlining. They don't know exactly what that means. But the thing about it is that if you know somebody at the bank who can inflate your numbers and say your home is worth this, and you're the only person that's taking advantage of that, then guess what? You can't do it. Let's say, for instance, if there was a black couple who wanted to fix their house up, they'll say, "Man, well, we can't really fix your house. We'll let you take out about $50,000 and fix your house up." And they go back and reevaluate it. It's only worth $25,000 more than what you put into it. So guess what? That inflated number that you would have used to take that money out to take your kids to send them to school and better educate themselves, to pull themselves up from their bootstraps, guess what? That money is not available to you and your family. Now y'all see how this works. It's not like they put a sign out and say, hey, Wells Fargo is a racist. No, they don't do that. They'll put up a sign and say, hey, look, we got new rates. Come on in and talk to us. I don't care about what your credit score look like or none of that. And you know what they'll do in situations like that? They'll say this part of the neighborhood is worth more than the other part of the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Even though a while back it was zoned for the same area, guess what? The houses that have just been recently fixed up, that's a whole new community now. So everybody in that community's houses are worth more and they can afford it because they just moved in. They don't mind paying the taxes because they got the money. So that works. So the same people who live down the street in the same neighborhood, live in houses started out the same way. Those people don't have the availability to pull that same amount of money out of their homes. Use something like these other people did. So guess what? You don't have generational wealth being created out of thin air. All you're doing is just passing Big Mama's house down to the next person. That's how people create wealth today. And the thing about it is, until we learn how to mathematically beat people at their own game, we're going to consistently, all we're going to do is water the conversation down with horror stories instead of coming up with solutions. What I told y'all is a real thing that happens in the last 10 or 15 years with these banks. You know how I know? Because I work for them. I know how they do it. I know how they work. And some of them getting sued. Some of them still getting sued for that stuff. And to call people lazy is dismissive.
Yay, there you go.
Especially when you know how they cook in the books.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying?
You saying it better than I say.
Come on, man. Listen, it's gonna take us have to be educated, man.
Everybody don't want to be. That's the thing I'm trying to tell Arpan. Eric, he told everybody don't. You can't save everybody.
You can't save everybody. Can't. I mean, it's just.
But here's the thing: if the game is crooked from the beginning,
you can't save everybody.
It ain't about Arpan. Listen, it ain't about. Arpan, listen.
What are we talking about?
Arpan, it's not about saving anybody. It's about making sure that the game that everybody's playing is playing.
Can black men do what you just said with those mortgages?
No, they could not.
Hell no.
I'll give you an example.
Money can't do it.
Arpan, stop. Let me give you an example. There was a series that I was watching on TV where this is real life. This guy was a black guy who wanted to buy a house in a certain neighborhood, and he couldn't do it. He wanted to sell his house. Okay.
Right.
What happened was he had messed around. He had his little white friend to go down there to the bank and say, "Hey, this is my house," and they sold it. They sold his house for way more than what the black folks was going to give him. That is real.
I know that's real.
That's real. So we can't ignore that. So
we're saying no black people take advantage of the real estate market.
Listen, to call people dismissive and to ignore
there are fucking lazy people out there, man. Stop.
Arpan, this man, listen. This man was not lazy. Arpan, listen. This man was not lazy. He was already It don't matter, Arpan. It could be him. It could be anybody.
Listen, we got lazy motherfuckers. Everybody
There's some lazy motherfuckers out there, y'all. Come on, man.
Lazy people don't live in the same neighborhood.
There's a lot of them.
But where's that coming from?
Exactly.
So, okay, we understand where it's a thing where it's transferred or whatever it is. The thing is that there are lazy people, and it's not to be dismissive. When you can observe that shit and you can see that there are some lazy motherfuckers out here, they don't want to do better.
No.
When you got people,
listen. In this instance, what I was talking about, this man had money. He wouldn't have had money if he hadn't already had a house.
No, I understand that.
He was trying to sell his home. And what happened was the bank said your house is worth this. And he told his friend it's worth something a little bit more.
I get that.
House, everything. Yeah. We're eliminating the laziness from the conversation. We can push past that because this man is already in the home. Let's eliminate the lazy.
If you're isolating it to that situation, if you're isolating it to that situation, yes, we can eliminate that.
That happens more.
I can say a community of people that you don't have a community of people that are not lazy. That's some bullshit.
Listen, we're not talking about that because it waters down the conversation.
It doesn't.
We're having an honest conversation about what really happens with black people who have money.
No, that wasn't what we were talking about. That's the instance that you brought up.
Listen, we're not talking about lazy, poor people. We're talking about people who get up and go to work every day, who just want to make sure that they get a fair shake at the table.
So then we changed we changed the conversation.
We're not changing the same conversation.
You definitely changed it.
No, it's not. This is exactly what Black Man was talking about.
That was not what we were all
talking about. Listen, what y'all were talking about.
Definitely not that. That's not that's disingenuous what you're doing.
No, it's not. What y'all were talking about Y'all changed the subject to some poor lady dying in a car.
No, we did
Black man was talking about something totally different. He was talking about something totally different.
We had a back and forth. Listen,
him and R-Pain was talking about something about gentrification and redlining.
No.
Redlining has something to do with the home.
No,
it ain't got nothing to do with nobody freezing in no parking lot.
That's not true, Lost.
Black man, is that not what y'all was talking about a minute ago?
I brought up redlining. I said,
thank you, and I stayed on topic with redlining.
We stayed on topic, and we gave.
No, we talked about somebody who was freezing in a car, lost their kids, and that's the reason why I brought the conversation back.
No, it was a instance that I was saying, and it was an illustrate to a point that I was making when it came down to it. Community. What we were talking about was the black community.
This ain't got nothing to do with the community, man.
My question from that, because what you're talking about, you're skipping. Because what I asked, I posed the question. Hold on. I posed the question. And the question that I posed was it when we have these losses that's in these communities, is it, or the redlining and all that, is it racial? Is it or is it classism? That's where the conversation was going to. So we didn't change the subject. We were having a back and forth.
Let me ask you, what does classism have to do with a lady down in the car with her kids?
That's the question that I was asking, because I was telling you.
No. What does that have to do?
Listen, so let me say it.
What does that have to do?
You ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it.
What does that have to do with what Black Man was talking about?
Listen to what I was just saying. We were moving the conversation along, Lost. You can't pigeonhole this the way the conversation was and say we just changed the subject. That's not true. And to tell us that, well, if we say that there are
JT, help me out.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish what I got to say.
JT, help me out, man.
Let me finish what I have to say. To tell us that what we had to say that a group of people that are lazy and they're not, and that's not part of the conversation, that's disingenuous on your part, brother.
JT, help me out. How do we go from, listen, help me out. How do we go from redlining to somebody freezing in the car? Help me with that leap.
We didn't, because we had conversations in between what you're talking about. Those 2 points, we had two different. The conversation, it elevated to that.
The conversation.
My point to that. Hold on. And my point to that was that we have a community full of black people, and you couldn't get one person to help you and your 5 kids. That's what it had to do with it.
We were talking about mortgages and homes.
Listen, we talked about
just mortgages and homes. That's what
we were talking about wealth and mortgages and homes.
We moved on. You popped back up and you said, let's talk about how redlining works. And we all listened to you, got a little education. Then you said to say people were lazy is just nobody said people who were victims of redlining were lazy.
Right.
Nobody said that. You brought that shit up.
Oh no.
You said
no.
Saying people were lazy.
I've been watching the whole time. I've been watching the whole time. I'm telling you.
You ain't let nobody else speak, Lynn. After you came up and gave us an explanation on redlining, which everybody listened to, then you said to say that people are lazy is disingenuous. Nobody said a person who was a victim of redlining was lazy. Nobody said that. You know, so I'm just saying that's what's triggering this whole conversation. Let me finish.
Didn't you and R-Pain and Black Man just talked about redlining before I came on, right?
Redlining, and we talked about a couple of other examples he talked about.
And then Black Man said
he gave us just wait a minute now. He said a few things about people who had a tragic situation. And we were talking about black people in general, but even before the redlining, of people not making it. And how do you get them out of the project? How do you get some people escape the project, and some people ain't never going to get out of there?
Right. And then y'all were talking about what was the poverty line? Remember? Yes. Somebody said it was 35. Somebody said it was 17 individually. Somebody said it was 50 by a household. You know what I'm saying?
I said it was 17. I looked it up online.
Right. And then Black Man said that's not true. And then Black Man said it has moved up since COVID, right?
He said it, but we also said that we also agree. And then me and Coach Ferg said, yes, it went up to 30% for poverty line. So what?
Right? And then we said that people can't buy houses; they're renting apartments, right?
I would never rent no apartment. That shit $2,600 a month.
And then I think our parent, you said your daughter was paying $1,800 a month for rent, right?
Where you live?
All right.
Right.
Right. So we're still talking about this money thing, right?
Yeah, but so we had a myriad of different conversations.
Correct. And then we start talking about how racism can play into this thing sometimes, right?
That was the undergird of the whole conversation, all facets of it.
And then black man brought up redlining, which is nothing more than what JT said was gentrification, right?
Yeah, that shit just
right.
And then what we talking about?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So
gentrifying the fuck out of Dallas.
So before I can start talking about how that these people play these games behind the doors, JT brought up the conversation about this lady and her kids at the casino and the kids dying in the car, right?
That was before you came on and talked about the red line.
Correct. Because I was going to talk about what you and Black Man was talking about. And JT started talking about this lady at the casino, right?
It was irrelevant, y'all.
Lost all our money.
It is what it is, man.
Right?
Actually, what I'm saying is
we
had progressed past the redlining conversation.
Yeah, we did.
But here's the thing. I was letting y'all know that there are things that these people do that you're not aware of.
And we appreciate. I appreciated the lesson.
No, you assume, but this is the thing, though. But this is the thing also, Lord.
Black people do that. I said, black people don't take advantage of it? And you said no. I said,
they can't.
Okay.
They can't.
Tell us why not, though.
Because they already know for a fact if you have jurisdictions already lined off for a certain area, those people only can loan you out so much money based upon the area that you're in.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of redlining. So when those people houses went up in value after they fixed them back up, they redid the districts. They just moved the line.
Okay,
so now instead of this home being in a $15,000 comp neighborhood, it's now in a $350,000 comp neighborhood. So guess what? According to the bank's laws and rules and regulations, they can now afford to give these people a loan according to the quote unquote new value of that particular home. Okay. Even though that home down the street with the black folks in the neighborhood is the exact same home. They put the exact same amount of money into the home, and now they can't unlock that amount of wealth that's in that and take that money out because they're in a different section. That's all I'm saying.
And the only thing we can say, and we agreed, and we say that does exist. We said that, and that was another facet that you came up with. But to say that what I said didn't have shit to do with what we were talking about, that's crazy too.
Well, JT, you still ain't.
We were still talking about community.
Conversation though.
We were talking about community, bro.
Back here, man. You know,
the conversation we were having had nothing to do with the community.
Word
at all.
Okay.
So okay, all right. So let's get back on. So we bring conversation back to where we are. There are black developers, right? There's black land developers. They buy houses. They also, the way they do it, whatever way they do it, they take advantage of the way the market is. And when they start building those houses, like say Anton Daniels, for example, right? He pays he doesn't take out a mortgage.
Right.
But he absolutely probably raises the property values in the areas that he develops in.
Absolutely.
So he's taking advantage of the situation, and maybe only because he doesn't have to take a loan from a bank.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's is that another way for blacks to play that game?
That's probably the only way that we can play it, to be honest.
Okay.
Think about it. If you don't have to that's one way you can get around, and then you can have it reevaluated once you've done the whole entire neighborhood. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The thing about it is you got to start somewhere, though.
Those are not the people I was calling lazy, though.
I understand. I understand.
No, I'd like to, the education is always valued on how that shit works. I mean, I'm not gonna, deny that. So I appreciate it.
But my whole thing is this: it's one thing for us to tell horror stories all the time, because I see it with the women all the time, and that's their justification for not wanting to get married. They have all these horror stories about some guy who beat their husband, beat their wife. And that's a reason why they don't want to get married. And that's why I said that we got all the horror stories and none of the money. Instead of us having conversations about building wealth, like Ikene was talking about a minute ago, we bringing up, tragedies and stuff like that. How does that help us out?
Well, that's what I was trying to tell BMU. Right? I mean, I understand this point. And, and here's one of the problems I think we have. When we talk about the future, there's enough people who want to remind us about the past. Right? And because it's like like just talking about the future and what can happen. Right. It's like you're forgetting about the past. Maybe we get that from our small hat brothers, where they don't never let nobody forget the past. But we ain't them.
But they ain't stopping that getting that money though.
I know.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? They work together, baby.
I think it does something to black people where we can't. I think it's more of an albatross around our neck when we just stay in the past.
Well, it's easy to stay there because you don't have to do no work in the past. Think about it. In order for you to overcome where you are, that means you need to become something that you're not. That means you're going to have to study. You're going to do research. You're going to have to network. You're going to have to do something outside of yourself
that you're uncomfortable with to move forward.
Exactly.
I mean, those are my only points, right? And because I like to say, I remember my past and the past that we had to, and some of the people around me in my orbit, some of the folks who are not here anymore, what happened to them, what they fell into, and what I avoided. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being anecdotal, but the fact is, everybody has one of those kind of stories if you came from the hood. Or even if you didn't, you might be some stories back in Africa. You might be some story wherever you came from. You got a origin story,
right?
So. But my thing is, I like to focus, like Ferg. He always talks about this is the best time to be alive. Here's the future.
Absolutely, it is.
But it seems like if black folks don't want to acknowledge that without spending half the time talking about how bad it is.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And the reason why I brought up redlining, because that's always been a problem. It's been a problem in the past, and it's still a problem now. It's just that these people are getting caught now, because now you have to show your books.
Terry says if you forget. See, that's the thing. Take it what Terry said. I can't get my damn cursor to go. Look at what he says, right? This is the problem I have. It's like if you don't spend your whole life talking about the past, it means you forget it. It's just not true. It's just not true. It'd be nice to have one of these damn panels where we won't let nobody talk about the past, and let's just dream build about what we could do in the future. I wonder what kind of conversation we would have.
Maybe I'll tell you one thing, Arpane. We can have a conversation like what Antoine Daniels is doing. You know what I'm saying? Going out and getting that without their mortgage. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a move.
Yeah. He talks about that all the time. And a lot of people, they say everything. A lot of people don't like him, whatever. But he shows receipts.
Absolutely.
If you believe the receipts, he shows a lot of receipts. I mean, I think he's actually living most of the shit that he's talking about.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm talking about. Show us how you did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. but even to what both of y'all are saying, right? Okay. And that's why I try to speak to the guys that are younger who haven't even gotten into this old ass space, not just for YouTube, in life. What I'm saying, that's what I say is they have the resources based off what they hear from older guys, based off what they hear from women, based off what the internet provides, the books they didn't read in school, the books in the library. The information is available to anybody who was willing to take advantage of it. Now, what I like about it is that this is the hardest part for most who talk about it but don't do it. The discipline that it's going to take over the next 3 to 5 years to change that. I don't see no man, young man, 21 to 41. I mean, 21, I'll say 41 because that's, you know, the age of wisdom kicking, not taking advantage of this time. I can't see it. Brothers that don't, they're going to be my age one day too, and they're going to have to, they're going to be held accountable for the work that they did not do. We, like you said, we know what the issues are. Redlining is the issue. However, parents of our age lost, they bought houses. They bought that house. They got it. They paid for it. They paid the taxes. They didn't complain about what they ain't gonna do to work with each other. When we have the strongest of us, everybody's saying on both sides that they're not going to work together. It's going to be 10 times worse for them when they get 20 years down the road because nobody's putting in that work. We have to start at a line. Everybody has to start at the baseline. And for me, as the America is shifting its gears to say America first, and these brothers have been born here, raised here, fed with the ideology, they have to be willing to step into these spaces that they never gone before when it comes to learning their skills, taking their health serious, being more careful with they see, just getting the skills needed so when they get to be lost age, our pain age, they can sit back and say, this is mine. I work for this. Because America is not going to come and save the brother if they cutting out these low-handed resources. And most brothers, if they don't want to be a garbage man, what makes you think they go and build a little hut and a little tent? You know, because those things require resources. And that's why I say, brothers, we know what the issues are, brothers. You've seen how the women treat you. You came out of your mama's house with those same type of women. So women of the world, they act just like your mom and them act. And if your mom and them were good women, that's the woman you focus on. If they were ratchet, you have to do a 180 with those type of women. But when it comes to the world of men, take advantage of your youth and get as much physical information, as much psychological information, mental, and also technical information as you can get while you're young. Because you can't wait till you get 40 and say, I want to start using it. No, you already aged out. So
Trey, here's my thing. We like to say that our parents, you know, they bought their own homes, that type of thing. Well, I think there's a little bit of math that we have to do to make sure that we're doing apples and apples and oranges and oranges. When my grandfather bought his house, he paid $3,000 for his house. It was a little 1-2 bedroom little bungalow. You know what I'm saying? Had about 12 kids living in there with his wife. You see what I'm saying? Everybody shared a floor and a piece of the floor and a bed every now and then. You know what I'm saying? And what he did was he added on to that house over time. You see what I'm saying? Not only that, the money was worth more. So that house was a smaller portion or a percentage of his take-home pay. Now, if you look at how much take-home pay that we have now, and you put it towards living expenses, it's a greater portion of your take-home pay. So that way you have to counteract what you're paying out in money. Think about it. If my grandfather paid $3,000 for his home, and our Payne's daughter pays $1,800 for rent, you mean to tell me for 2 months worth of rent she can buy a house? That math don't make sense. So when we start telling people that, hey, you need to get out there and make more money so you can buy the same house that I buy, well, it's not the same home. The costs are different. Think about the value of the money is inflated. It's deflated, to be honest. And everything else is inflated. So if we're going to have conversations, we need to do the math correctly and do it to proportion of your income to your housing. I think that's probably a more fair number. If as an engineer, our pain, is that not a more correct statement?
Yeah, I said you got to do it by percentage. You got to do it by a percentage of your, gross or your net, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yes.
Right. So and that's how it should be. So if it was 35% or 30% of your grandfather's gross back then, Of course, now it's relative to now. So your salary if you can afford a house at 35% of your money, but it also costs more to maintain it.
Absolutely.
Right? And but the realtors will tell you that you can afford a whole lot more. When I bought my house, I based it on my net. I didn't base it on my gross.
Right.
Right. But the realtors try to base it on your gross, correct?
Yep. They try to pencil whip you, man.
Yeah. So I said, in my head, listen, this is what I bring home. So the house I buy is going to be based on my net income after taxes and all that other kind of shit.
Yeah. You don't have access to gross.
Our pain. Listen, that was the benefit of the Catholic school education, the American public school, listen, I'm telling you, listen, and this is the difference though, because in the time where we had the grandparents that really worked together, everybody, including the children, did their parts. Everybody did their parts. We modern, but our children don't do anything. We don't require them to learn anything until it's too late. Look at our young people out here just crashing out in these cities. They're not really taking education serious at all. They think being the garbage man at 20 years old is played out. They think, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's putting the children to work. No, the children.
That's a lack of parents.
It's a lot of learned behavior. It's a lot of doing it. But for young men that are experiencing those lives, when you get out here, you cannot afford to complain about what ain't happening in your life. You have to start somewhere. You can't come in a building talking about I want to be a boss and you didn't even brush your teeth. No, you got to come in with the skill set. Our Payne been an engineer all of y'all life. He got the skills. You need to learn from him. You got to get we in America, so we can't avoid what America is giving us. We cannot sit back and say, I don't want to get out here, because even at some point, again, we age out on the work market. We age out. You cannot have nothing going on to you now, 35. I want to be a man. No, they're going to look at you and be like, well, sir, you still qualify for McDonald's and Taco Bell. You can't get an apartment. You can't do this. So to me,
you got to have a certain amount of credit to even get an apartment. I mean,
right? Because
you know what, Trey Ferg, I think the problem is that we don't have enough people showing our young people what's coming around the corner for them.
There you go.
And generally, usually it's their father and their grandfather who can say, hey, look, if you don't do this, this is what's going to be waiting for you. You know, if you don't start working and put something back, you ain't going to have nothing. You know, when they told us when we was coming up, ain't going to be no Social Security when y'all get ready to retire. And I believed them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't wait. I'm like, I'm doing the math. I'm like, this Social Security money ain't going to do it because inflation going to rise by 2%. But if my money don't double every 10 years, then guess what? I'm going to be shout, you know? But see, nobody has that conversation with people. That's the issue. And when your family is divided,
see, you know, it's funny though.
How do you go ahead, Arpay.
I'm sorry. How do you reach them? Listen, I try to, all the stuff we talk about, I have enough young folks in my family that's my paying it forward. I got a lot of young cousins.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got a lot of cousins. My daughters aren't young anymore, but there's a lot of people in their age group, in that generation, that are, you know, just starting to work, looking for how to save and invest for their children and those kind of things. So I get to talk to them and say, here's some of the basic stuff. I mean, I'm not a licensed person, but I know what to do.
Yeah.
But I tell them, listen, how much money do you make? And do you have, you know, a list of your expenses and
right,
what you have to pay and what your net is after everything is going? How much is discretionary when you have left?
Correct.
You know, that you can pay your bills, what you can invest in, and how much debt do you have?
Yeah.
You know, and we talk about those kind of things. And if you have money to invest, I got a few things that I talk about. Like I'm into dividend stocks and stuff like that. So
what you do, Arpay, is you start out small, especially when they're kids. You know, when they're real little, give them chores and stuff to do around the house. Teach them how to save, put money up, you know what I mean, that type of thing. And then once they get to a certain age, like maybe 10, 12 years old, and say, hey, look, now that you say that this money, let's really put it to work. Instead of you working for your money, let's show you how to make your money work for you. Let's go ahead and let me tell you about stocks. Let's go and look in your room and see what you love to buy. And we're going to buy some stocks and the stuff that you love, you know? Exactly. And then once you start doing that, you start teaching them, hey, don't do business with anybody who don't do business with you. If you can't get some part of that money back, you know, from doing business with people, then you really shouldn't do business with them. And that kind of actually whets their appetite for wanting to invest and teach them how to seek out and look for opportunities to make money in the market where there are holes. You see what I'm saying? So,
yeah, you know what I played with my daughters when they were young? Cash flow, Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow.
quadrants. Yeah,
with the quadrants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know? It took time to set it up, but you just do other board games like Life. You had to make some decisions.
All of
that kind of things.
Right.
So
I'll pay to what you were speaking on about your family. You know, one saying that's the blueprint right there. You have the blueprint in a sense that you have an availability of young men, right, who may have families and may have all of these lanes that you just described, right? And that message that you give them, I learned this. You are in a space where most wish they could be. And when you come into my space, you are filet mignon. I'm just no, I'm just trying to how I understood. They used to a certain type of garbage that it's the best food they eat. You are the top of the line, right? So I don't trust you coming in. You pointing your finger. You telling me I ain't nothing. I don't know how to be other than what I am, but you coming in telling me I ain't nothing. It's gonna, and this is where I learned that the more that I gave them that consistent message and can show them little bits and pieces of what it looks like if you put in that work, once you build the trust, that's when you start seeing the true change. And it takes that village. Well, it's not that village, but for men, it takes that sitting around the tribal circle and you just standing up, being that presence, speaking me through it. And then having an opportunity to where all 10 of us have to speak about our emotions. What do those things look like when we are triggered? What am I being held accountable? And we can start holding each other accountable. Am I having integrity? Do I have a vision? What does each individual look like? But then once each individual's vision is fulfilled, how does that vision look for the entire group? So I'm saying, and you have to have respect for self, family, school. You have to have respect for women. Despite what they're doing, that doesn't mean you crash out over them. But when I just sum it up, it just takes brothers like you. That's why I said it's probably the fifth time you'd have heard it from me in the last.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
They need a message like you because you've already gone through it. You went through the systems that they don't even understand.
You know what, I appreciate the compliment, but my lament is that I have so many winners that I've let go, that if I would have just held on, I would have been so free. I mean, free. I mean, especially being an engineer, I had my hands on a lot of technology in its infancy. Intel, when they had the 8086 chip, way back when, Netscape before, AOL, Amazon, when, even E-Trade as a trading group. I had an E-Trade account in the year 2000 when it used to crash every day. Now Morgan Stanley owns them and they bought them out at a pretty nice price. Netflix, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, I saw that coming.
Oh my, yeah, exactly. So there's so many things. I said, gosh, man, when I was younger and single, just $1,000 on each of the things I just mentioned, I would be free.
You know what the thing about it is, our pain. I think we focus so much on the past, we don't teach our kids how to view opportunities in the future.
Now I do. Sure. Now I do. That's
you know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? It's like, how do you spot the next trend? You know, the next big thing. What is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about it. Uber is the largest transportation company on the planet, but they don't own not one vehicle. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. That's right.
Think about it. Google has all the information, but they ain't wrote not one book. See what I'm saying? Airbnb got all the real estate in the world, but don't own not one piece of property.
Right.
You know, that's the next big move. Find out what could be the next thing.
What's happening? Yeah.
Right. And capitalize on that.
It's another one, Google. I could have bought the stock at $90 a share.
Right.
I gotta say something, guys.
Come on.
You see that Uber model of business is good when you are building a wealth that you're only gonna have 10% stake in it or 20% stake, and then the rest of them you're not gonna have that business for a long time. You see what I'm saying? And when you do have some of that, you don't even have assets. I tell people all the time, asset ownership is the greatest wealth you can own. The difference between the Uber guy and Jeff Bezos is that Jeff Bezos has raw assets, even though most of his money are in stock due to people buying stock of his company, but he also owns raw assets. Uber guy can go from 50 billion to 300 million. Jeff Bezos cannot go from 50 billion to 300 million to almost nothing. You know why? Because he owns most of his stuff. He can liquidate it. Uber cannot liquidate. The only thing Uber can liquidate is the structures, maybe head office, regional office. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that is why I don't encourage folks to have such a money without owning assets. Definitely own about 30% asset in any company that you run. Just like Google. Google can be like Uber. But guess what Google does? Google invests in a lot of offices, in a lot of buildings, in a lot of structures, and put employees there because Google knows that one day, if things go bad, they can get some of their money back with what? Assets. That is why you have something like JP Morgan Chase. You think JP Morgan Chase cannot operate like Uber? They can. But JP Morgan Chase owns a lot of assets all over the world. Their asset is a lot. In fact, their asset is more than $1 trillion. Assets. So assets is the best thing you can ever own. Just like some people say that, oh, I'm a millionaire. Do you own a land? Do you own physical land? Because if you don't own physical land, that money can be wiped out tomorrow. And guess what is insured? $250,000. That's it. That's all you get it. FDIC. That's it. All those millions are gone. But guess what? If you own assets, if you take those stocks, like Mr. Penn have had me spoke on my channel many times. If you own stocks, this is what I tell people all the time. Whenever that stock goes up and you make money, liquidate your money and transfer it into assets. And people said, okay, I have $50 million. When you have $50 million in cash, do you own assets? Because asset is what is the multiplier. And if you don't own assets, do you own a gold? I'm not saying go buy stock in gold. That's the most craziest fraud on earth. To own stock in anything that you don't even own an asset of it. Go and buy gold. Go somewhere. Buy the hard gold itself, that bar of gold, and hide it somewhere in your house. It's a $56,000 for 1 kilogram. But guess what? That $56,000 can become $100,000. And in the next 100 years, while you're not here anymore, but your kids have access to that gold, the gold can only increase. It can only increase. That is why a country like Saudi Arabia, when United States said with the world 30 trillion, United States actual wealth is not up to $10 trillion. United States doesn't have 30 trillion. 30 trillion is floated, is an artificial money. Almost 1/3 of that is real estate. And real estate in America is overblown by almost 5 times to the actual value of real estate. Real estate in America is so overblown that a $20 million house in Monaco or Dubai is almost $70 million house in San Francisco. It doesn't make any sense. It's overblown real estate. That's why I tell people all the time, own a house if the house is brick, not plywood house. That's a real asset. Own piece of land. You don't have to build on it. Piece of lands are real asset because they can never catch on, they can never burn down. Then own gold. Gold is the best asset you can ever own. But real estate is an asset you can liquidate easily. But gold is the #1 asset in the world.
Let me ask you something about gold. Do you have a safe deposit box for that? Or would you?
Do you have to have a safe deposit box for box for gold?
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Don't even try it. This is what I tell folks all the time. This is what you do. #1, before you start buying gold, make sure you own a house, right?
Okay.
But I won't speak more than this, so you know what to do from here, because I can't speak about this online. Just own a house before you start buying gold. So just understand and go down from there. Go forward from there. Yeah.
I got you.
But that's what I always say. I've told somebody like me right now. I own lands, lots of lands in Nigeria, and I'm buying more. Like I'm buying lands. If I see a 20-acre land in Nigeria for good price, I'm buying it. If I see 40-acre in Nigeria for good price, I'm buying it. I own land in the US. If I see, I'm embarking on buying lands in the US because it's a real asset. No matter the business that I do, I always take some part of that money and put it towards land. But very soon, I'm going to start buying gold because I have access to gold. I deal in gold. I started dealing in it long time ago, but I kind of, stopped everything for now because I have other businesses to start that require my raw cash, right? But there will come a time that I have to channel money back into not to just sell gold, but to own it, not to sell it, but to own it, so that way I can divert my funds into that and then deal with it. But that's what I would tell people all the time. Don't do Uber.
Let me ask you a question, man.
Yes, sir.
You said buy gold, right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's the thing. Does gold maintain its value, increase value, or does the dollar lose its value proportionally?
The gold increase value over time. You might have gold going up today and falling tomorrow, but over time, gold always increase value at a yearly rate of 1.5 to 1.75 annually. The dollar decrease in value.
So it kind of balances itself out, right?
It balances itself out, but that's why you shouldn't have a $1,000 in your bank account, and you have a $1,000 in your bank account, and then you put it in a savings account that can only give you 0.025. That's useless. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't increase.
So basically, you're protecting your buying power against inflation. Is that correct?
Exactly, because you remember it goes up by 1.25 to 1.75, right? Every year. Right. Yeah. Remember, you don't buy stock in gold because some people You don't go to Bank of America and buy stock in gold. Don't do that. Own the gold.
Right.
So at that point, you just buying paper.
You just buying paper because they give actually you buying cheap. They're giving you a cheap. It's like casino. Stock market is a casino. That's why I tell people stock market is a casino. It's legalized casino. It's still legalized gambling. You mess yourself up.
Well, let's talk about the stock market for a second, right? I mean, listen, it's moving up. If you look over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, the slope is always increasing, right? Even though past results is, you can't base the future on that. But 5 years from now, if the country is still here, chances are the stock market will probably be higher than it is today. Correct?
I doubt it, but you will. Well, okay.
I mean, chances are. If I take 5-year increments, even if it's a big dip, it has, you either have a consolidation or a correction or a collapse. It usually comes back. But at what point would an average portfolio from a regular person get to a certain level where you say, you know what, even though they're getting good, maybe I should sell half of my holdings and put the money into assets like you said. If you had a hypothetical, portfolio of stocks, and let's say you're up good, like you've doubled, tripled it over the last 20 years. Would you say to that person, hey, man, you should liquidate some of that and put it into some physical assets?
Guess what? I will tell you this. Number one, for you to be able to have a guarantee return on your stock, you have to be one of those guys that are putting in so much money. It has to be a very, very big money. But for you, but you said average man, right? So for average person, I would say at any point in stock market, when your stock market triples, withdraw your money. Withdraw your dividend right away. Put it into a raw asset. Put it right away. Do not even waste time because guess what? It will dip. By the time it's going to come back again to triple, you might not be here. It might be another 20, 30, 40 years. You see what I'm saying? So,
Go ahead. I mean, you're correct. But if you're correct, but if you look at any chart, right, out of every correction and every dip, I mean, it might be a couple of years, but the chart belies the fact that even in Obama, when he saved the world and shit, right, that dip was maybe a year or two before it started running again, right? So it depends
it took 5 years. It took 5 to 7 years. Because that's why Trump. No, it took 5 to 7 years. That is why Trump benefited from Obama's market.
But it started going back up before 5 or 7. I remember that. It was a nice big chunk before with the end of Bush administration and going into the correction. It started going back up slowly, but it was moving back up depending on when you got in.
But Mr. Penn,
you make a real point already. If you have a certain amount of profit, don't be afraid to take it and move it to a physical asset. I mean, that's the point.
Yes. But Mr. Penn, you also have to understand that the correction was artificial, right? It wasn't a real correction. That is why the country is still in debt today. Because it was an artificial correction. It wasn't a real correction. So the fear of the government was if they allow real correction, it's going to take 10 to 20 years for the real correction to actually happen, right? So what they did, they printed money by being in debt. So United States was like, okay, you know what? Our debt ceiling, forget about it. It's now unlimited. They don't have debt ceiling anymore. Whenever they tell that they have a cap of debt ceiling, they don't. There is no cap to debt ceiling anymore for United States because no administration or party wants to go through the real correction. The real correction has to happen. But guess what? The reason why the real correction will be forced to happen now, that is why you see they firing people, asking people to take pay cut or take buyout and leave. This stuff is both parties that want it to happen. It's not Democrat or Republican. The system want it to happen. because the core reason is there will come, and the United States is no longer the world only superpower anymore. It was over in 2017, but it was officially over 2023. So now the world has what we call multipolar system and not unipolar. So in a multipolar system, United States doesn't have the leverage of forcing the whole world to use the dollar as the primary transaction currency, which means other countries will come to a time when they will force United States to accept payment in their currency, which means United States doesn't get that 0.035 to a dollar that United States gets every time that the dollar is used for transaction globally. That's why United States will maintain the Western hegemony. But the United States is about to lose that. That's why it's fighting BRICS. But it can't fight BRICS because BRICS is much stronger than United States. So they can't. It's a war. No president should even try it. It's going to be so bad. In fact, it can only get worse. So the only thing the United States can do right now is to adapt.
What do you think the percentage dip is going to be, right? I mean, we're talking about a major collapse. What percentage you talking about? 30, 40%?
Of the value?
Yeah, in the market.
Of the value of the dollar to be gone?
No, well, we was talking about the market, the stock market, right? I'm talking about
the market. The market has to, if you ask me right now, I will use, I'm going to use two things. I'm going to use housing and stock market. The market has to shade anywhere between 30 and about 55% of its current value, because it's not a measurement of economy. It's only a measurement of wealth. You see the problem, right? With the stock market, it's not a measurement of economy. It's a measurement of wealth, which is bad. But then let's go to real estate, because that's where everybody can understand this. You remember I said before that the house that you can buy for, let me just use $15 million, right, in Spain, is going to be a house of $75 million in Los Angeles,
right,
or Bel Air. That house supposed to be in America not more than 5% the value of what it is in Spain on the beach. But in America, it's 4 times or 3 times. That is bad. Not 5%. 3 times.
Okay.
So instead of it to be at 20 million, it's selling for 75 million. That's too much. You see what I'm saying? So, and the reason why it's like that is because of when you in America, right? When something is on the shelf, it's not on the shelf only to be sold. There are invested interests on that merchandise, hedge fund, investors. So it makes the price of the whole thing to go up. Just like Dipstick, right? Dipstick is not $7 million. Dipstick is about $12 to $14 million. That's the actual value because of the price of things in China. But guess what? Google and all the whole and OpenAI spent almost $50 billion. Do you see the falsehood of American market? So that's why I'm saying that the country is in a deep trouble. But for you that owns a stock, whenever you see something like that, withdraw your money. Take the penalty. Withdraw your money, put it into a raw asset. Because what you do basically is this. When you anytime you transfer your money into a raw asset, you actually keeping the value of your dollar extended. Not the value of your dollar I would say in a zigzag or volatile state.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, after whatever you pay taxes on it or whatever, you still will eventually be able to recoup, and it'll be more stable in that physical asset.
Yeah, on the physical asset. Okay, you see, that's why I said gold and land, right? Because when you have a gold, you're not paying any tax on it, right?
Right,
But
once
when
you
you
own
have,
Right.
yeah, because you own it, is an asset that cannot be. It's not. What they call it is an unsecure asset. The reason why it's called unsecure asset is because it's not a taxable asset. The government can't see it. Nobody can possess it.
I buy
It's unpossessed.
I buy an ounce of gold at $50,000, whatever, $500 or $1,000 for say. If it doubles to $2,000 when I sell it, there's no tax on it because
There is no tax on it. There is no tax on it. But if you own a land, it's taxed every month. If you own a land in the United, let me just put this. If you own a land in the United States, it's taxable. It's a taxable asset.
all the time.
Somebody like me, I own land, far more land outside United States. They are not taxable.
Okay.
Yeah. But guess what? They appreciate faster than my asset in the United States. But when converted to dollar, they're not the same.
No,
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's untaxable. It's not a taxed item. But the one that you have in America, so over a period of time, let's just say over a period of, let's say a period of 10 years, you may have paid about 8%, 6% in taxes to the value of the land. But if in a seller's market, you might end up selling the land for almost 3-4 times the price that you bought it 10 years ago.
I got
I will tell you one thing that happened to me back in 2016. I just bought a new land in Dallas for $168,000, 1 acre. Do you know that 2016 somebody was selling me a land not far away from there, just close? This is a front lake property. Somebody was selling me this land not far away from there, and they were selling it to me for 55,000, and I said no. And the lady said, you know what about I throw one more acre to it? Now you get 2 acres for 75,000. I went, damn. But the thing is that most of my money was stuck overseas. I said to the lady, okay, give me time. I will be back. You know, I never really went back. But I got distracted because I saw a different land somewhere. So me and my buddy were going to buy that land. But then I ended up not buying it. So I bought another land overseas. So when I finally came to buy this land many years later, I bought just 1 acre for 168,000. Something I should have bought for 55,000 just 10 years ago.
Yeah, there you go.
What I tell you, Arpain?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just 10 years ago. So
anyway, this is a good talk. I'm gonna have to cut out, man. Go to bed.
Yeah, we about to shut this thing down, man.
We need to have more conversations like this, man. You know,
I will be online probably sometime this week. I would say you guys can come up, or maybe we can do it here. But if we do it, I will be online. We can discuss a whole lot. These are conversations I usually talk on my podcast. I discuss a lot of things about market and business. So I will be online sometime this week. We can deal with it maybe over the weekend, or if not, if you guys want to discuss it on BMU, we can do that. I will be online. I can come to the show. We can discuss it.
You know, the barbershop is always open. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can talk a lot of. We can talk a lot of investment, man. We can talk a lot of things about investment. A lot of ways to make money. So many ways to make money.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I told you, Arpain,
with JT cut out, man, and BMU cut out, man. I hope everybody's cool, man.
We'll be all right, man. That's what I was talking about, man, earlier. Instead of us telling horror stories, we need to be talking about what Ikene talking about, making this money, man. You know what I'm saying? Actually making a difference. because money will solve a whole lot of problems. You know, you'll find that your woman won't leave you as fast if you got somewhere for her to stay and lay her head and be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all coming out. People, before y'all leave, make sure y'all hit the like button and subscribe. Make sure you guys leave the comment section. And if you get an opportunity, make sure you hit the Cash App going across the screen.
We got some people talkative in the chat over here.
Oh, yeah, man. They're cutting it up, man. They want to talk about it, man. They want to talk about it. Exactly. See, look, they want to talk about it, man. So we'll talk about it later on. We'll work it out, man. But I just want to make sure that we get in the habit of discussing things that's going to help us instead of talking about what used to hurt us, because that's ain't going to do but keep us in the past, man.
You got it.
All right. Y'all be good, man. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Good night.